All right. Hey, what is up, my radical leftists? How are we doing today? Mom Donistan and Abdullahistan. Let's fucking go. Hi, awesome Stella. Oh no. I forgot to finish doing my estrogen. No. Um, I forgot my estrogen is still under my tongue. So if I start sounding like I have like I'm a dog with peanut butter on the roof of my mouth, that's why. Hey, Kiragen Mystic. Yeah, it's been a minute. Super Batman Bro, assalamu alaikum to you. Oh, hell yeah. I have been. There aren't a lot of causes for hope these days. But every time progressives win a victory like this, like I felt, this is the same way I felt watching everything that went down with Zeron. It is equal measures of hope and kind of frustration with the way the system's set up, frustration with the just legions of fucking establishment Dems and people willfully going neener. Now you're going to have to earn our vote. Like the fuck. Oh. So if y'all don't know, last night, Abdul El Sayed won the primary against Haley Stevens. We talked a little bit about Haley Stevens last time, whose most notable aspect is being just a fucking real lame candidate. Just a dog water establishment Dem. She had the backing of Schumer and Pelosi and a whole bunch of other DNC regulars, and probably most importantly, 70. And I need you, I'm going to underline this part again, because we looked at this on, was it Mother Jones, I believe? 70 million with an M. $70 million in funding. About 30 million of that was directly from APAC or APAC related super PACs or funds to get her elected. Any tips to keep hopeful right now? Live in it, feel it. Because the goal of the libs, the goal of the establishment Dems right now is, and Johnny Val, you're absolutely right. Like there are extenuating circumstances, much like with Zohran Mamdani, that led to Syed being the preferable alternative. But do not let it go. The Dems want to make it look like, the libs and the establishment want to make it look like this was either an accident, like they got lucky. That is not what fucking happened. Do not let anybody convince you that, oh, you know, it was just, this happens, or, oh, they lied, or they, no. $70 million could not beat out $5 million, less than $5 million, I believe, of grassroots funding. Private money and private interests did not buy this primary. The voters rejected it outright. And people want to say, the Dems are already on this line of, they're trying to make it seem like the APAC candidate, the person who told working class Michiganders, hey, Israel comes to me in my dreams. This is something I need to, let me find the Haley Stevens clip real quick. Israel in my dreams. Oh, God. Really quick, let me read these really quick. Thank you so much. Jen AC, thank you for $8.99, I believe, New Zealand bucks. Having in the background while writing thesis on the criminalization of poverty in New Zealand through Marxist criminology analysis. Wish me luck, love you. Godspeed. That sounds like a fucking nightmare. Anarcho Heathen, thank you for $10. Yo, just got off a Zoom call looking to organize a DSA chapter here in Alaska. Let's fucking go. We're going to be at the Alaska State Fair at the end of the month. If anybody's in Alaska, let's go. Hell yeah. Congratulations. And I know I have to have some people in Alaska. Yeah, let me grab that really quick. Awesome, Stella. Would you be able to... Let me do... how can I get that? Awesome, Stella, would you be able... Oh, there we go. Perfect. Oh, wait, no, is that the... put my link after. It's fine. Would you be able to message me that on Blue Sky? Because I have a thing I don't want to open Discord for because I have an issue with Discord and the background processes it keeps running on my computer, and I don't want to start it right now. Would you be able to message me on Blue Sky the link? Thank you so much. I'm looking at my DMs right now. Oh, there's one. The YouTube, thank you very much for $5. And yes, we will, Bitter Blossom 99, thank you for tier 1. I do want to, yeah, we'll talk about the fact that my city is on fire. It's been a weird, hard time lately. Like, I'm kind of in the middle of, like, I don't want to say a mood swing, but I'm kind of in the middle of, like, I'm letting myself feel good vibes for the first time in, like, a week, it feels like, because if you don't know, Spokane has been under a fucking nightmare. Hellscape right now. On fire, exactly. Give me 1 second. Woo. You know. All right, I'm going to go grab my headphones from the charger and we'll crack right into it. Baby, do something, please. Okay. I am okay. Yeah, I will say straight up, when we're talking about the fire, yeah, I'm fine. It is. Let's talk about Spokane fires really quick. Let me actually get, because I have somebody, because I know I have some listeners in Spokane. I do have a, oh god damn it. There we go. All right, sorry, give me 1 second. I'm looking for, I have a friend who works in an aid group around here, and I'm trying to find, they sent me a link to their thing. There we go. I guess they haven't sent it to me yet. Damn. Bummer. Yeah, I guess they haven't. All right. Well, that is a bummer. Yeah, so if you don't know, Spokane, where I live, has been in the midst of a very scary fire situation. We usually have yearly, for the last couple of years at least, we have had a number of really rough fire seasons. And usually our fire season, it's like a lot of other places in the country that gets worse a little bit every year, where our fire season it's a lot of smoke. It's usually a week or two out of the year. It's unfucking breathable outside. And this year decided to get particularly terrible. Because as of, when was it? It was, what's today? Today's Wednesday. I believe it was Saturday or Sunday was when the fire really broke out. And what happened was, what is the name of that? There's an app, and I wonder if I can go to the website and show it, because this perfectly lays out what a awful situation it is. Let me see if I can find Watch Duty online. Here we go. Come on now. Come on. Let me read these really quick. EP Sapphic, thank you for being a member for 5 months. 5 months already. I'll just use this to celebrate finally watching Murder Drones and The Amazing Digital Circus because my partner made me watch them while nomming my neck. I'm very happy for you. Goblin Culinarian, thank you for 35 bits. Sat down with the new Spider-Man movie and the Backrooms movie. I'll give you one guess which movie pissed me off the most. Backrooms? I hope it was Backrooms, not Spidey. I like Spidey. Yeah, we can talk about Spidey a little bit too. Why not? There we go. Okay, now it's great. Get me out of here. So, for those who don't know, this is the Spokane County fire map. To give an idea, this is downtown Spokane, right here. Right? And it goes all the way up, or I guess technically down, but there is a hill incline up here, all the way up to Latah Valley, out to the airport. Around, I want to say 3 p.m. on a extremely windy day last week, the Old Trail fire kicked off, and in a couple hours, it went from 1,000 acres to almost 4,000. Within a day, Spokane Fire was calling on Colorado hotshots, California hotshots. So if you don't know, hotshots are fire crews that specialize in extremely dangerous wildfires. They are trained for the most dangerous situations possible. We had National Guard mobilized. We had within hours. And because all we really had at the time was our Washington fire crews, when the wind picked up, it carried. So here's the really insane part of it, right? Because this is the Spokane River. Now, usually, from what I understand, fire crews try and set up heads at Spokane River, or just at a river, right? The fire, because it was so windy, the fire jumped the fucking river. Not just once down here, but when another one started up here, the Autumn Lane fire, this started around the same time. And I again, need to stress the extremity of this situation. Autumn Lane fire started when Old Trails had been all of this over here, and then this is loosened a little bit. People are starting to return their homes slightly. But when all of these sections had been evacuated, the Autumn Trails fire was... I watched this thing spread from 100 acres to 200 acres. I watched it spread over here as this little tiny blip when it also jumped the river. And then it crawled along the edge to become this. The red lines are the firewalls. Like that is the lines that the firefighters are hoping to keep and maintain the fire within. And it just began fucking eating everything in its path. And then also over here, the Fairview fire started, which reached around 1,000 acres very quickly. Now, right now, here's the thing. Right now, a lot of these are under containment. That does not mean they're entirely out. It means that hotshot teams, a lot of the crews are trying to mobilize to make sure that the fires die down, because it's with fires like these and a lot of wildfires. I've been doing a lot of reading on this. From my understanding of this, they are not, it's not just like a house fire. It's not just like like a kitchen fire where you can just spray like flame retardant stuff on it. Sorry, I'm looking at my dog. And it will die down. because they are in such a big space and there are so many different variables, what you have to do sometimes is just section off the fire and let it die down on its own. Wasn't this confirmed to be arson? So there is one person in custody. So here's the thing, and I'll talk about that in a moment, but I want to first put people. I want to show in your mind, show in my mind what this is like. There has never, like, the Palisades fire was the first thing that a lot of people went to. We have the Palisades fire crew down here. The people that California brought in to stop LA from burning down last year, we have that now. They're here helping us fight this, and we're within 24 hours. A surly barber, 3620. Stupid questions. Is it possible a careless smoker could have been responsible, or some dummy burning trash? Both. Very true. Very true. Like, either way, but there are. All right, so we're going to talk about fire and fire safety and stuff as well, a little bit here, because it is not just like, it's not just that. There are underlying issues that caused this, that led to this massive acceleration, that led to a drastic worsening that spread into, and I need to. So this part was really hard to watch. If you haven't checked out on the channel yet, I have a video that just came out. I had planned on, there's a cat toy underneath me. I had planned on having the Citizen Vigilante video. I had planned on being most of the way to my next video being out. That won't happen until next week, because Saturday, Sunday, whenever it was, both days really, I barely got any work done, because Koa and I packed bags. We didn't know how quickly the fire was going to spread. We went through our contacts, made sure our family and friends were safe. And it was just a lot of, let me see if I can find, I took a video and I posted it. Damn. All right, let me. Here we go. This is a view, like, I had to kind of go. This is like a mile away from where I live. But this is a vantage point to show you. This is still downtown Spokane. This is a vantage point to show you how fucking big. And this was, by the way, this was when the fire was still kicking off. And then basically the last 3 days have been nothing but constant smoke, which has made also, not to fucking pour me here, because as we'll get to it, there are literally hundreds of people. There are thousands of people who had to flee. So, like, fucking pour me in the midst of that. Like, who gives a shit? But it has made working hard. It's been made working hard for me, for everybody. I haven't been able to take my dog out because the air has become so goddamn toxic that even going outside, I've still had to do chores and I've still had to run errands and go get shit. I spend, and it's a little bit better today, thankfully, but I spend like 20 minutes outside and I get dizzy. I get brain fog. And that it doesn't help that it's been incredibly arid and fucking, it's so dry, and also the smoke in the air is working on my sinuses. And so I've also had like a ton of nosebleeds. It's been fucking miserable, just for literally everybody in Spokane. And the community has come together so much. We will talk about that as well. What you can do. I wanted to look up KHQ. I think it's had some resources. Here we go. Yeah. We'll talk about that in a moment, but I want here we go. This is the view from downtown Spokane. To help put that in perspective, if you're looking at this fire here, This is where that smoke plume was coming from. And where I took that video was right about here. Like, that is a couple miles. And it's not, I need to stress this part. Oh, God damn it. This is Spokane City that fire was tearing through. When I saw the video coming through the following day, I've talked about this a little bit on Twitter, but it was fucking hard to see because somewhere around over here is, and it's not, it's not a place I go anymore, really, but I knew people who lived here in high school. I have memories of these streets. I have memories of going over to friends' houses and, 10, 15 of us teenagers just doing teenager shit. We didn't get in like trouble or anything, but just running around. There was a big park over in this area. And just run around at night doing teenager shit. And then I saw the pictures and it's just gone. That area it's fucking gone. My ex-wife's grandparents live down there. And so that's somewhere I went for years. When I was still married, we would go swimming there. We would, I had a lot of emotional moments in that area, good and bad. I spent years of my life with family there. And it's gone. Fucking gone. But thank you for that, Stella. So it's been a rough time just for everybody. Like, there was a huge scare. This is where the fire line got to. About the medical center. There's a VA hospital right here. There's a middle school right here. This is where the fire line is. There was the Dwight Merkel Sports Complex, which, if you live in Spokane, it used to be Joe Albee Stadium, Joe Albee Field. Joe Albee and Dwight Merkel. Joe Albee was like the place for high school football games. Like, a lot of away games between different teams and shit. And I never really cared about high school football, but you go because people are hanging out there. Hey, are you going to the game after? Because you can fucking hang out, eat hot dogs and fries, and, hang out with your friends. And so I have a lot of memories there too. I'm sorry, it's not to turn this into a fucking therapy session, but seeing this the same day as, and I'm going to address, we're going to talk about this a fair bit, so I'm sorry. But seeing this, and then a couple days later, seeing Trump rolling back protections for endangered species. Here we go. Claiming the Endangered Species Act, quote, was a complete and total regulatory overreach by unelected bureaucrats, stifling the production of important resources like oil, gas, and timber, and blocking the construction of family homes and critical infrastructure, while responsibly protecting our beautiful country. The United States is going to build again. Fuck you, it's not going to protect anything. They are the things that cause this to be one of the hottest years on record that is causing everything to be so fucking hot and dry, the things that are turning this part of the country into a goddamn tinderbox. What do you want? Oh. Lady's crying because her ball's under the table. It's incredibly frustrating. Because it felt like, everybody has probably seen or heard that quote by now that the climate collapse is going to seem further and further off until you're recording it with your phone. And I think a lot of people kind of accept that passively as true, but let me tell you, it hits fucking different when you're watching part of your city burn down through your phone. I want to talk about aid first to anybody who would be interested in helping. KHQ Spokane has had incredible coverage. The anchors and news people there have been working unrelentingly hard. And I have my issues with the Kohl's company and the people who own KHQ, but Sam Adams and the rest of the crew there have been doing legitimately great work. And most importantly, they have been doing incredible work at fact-checking all of the sources coming in. They have been doing a lot of work to verify and vet things before they report them, which cannot fucking be seen or cannot be fucking said for a lot of the other sources reporting on this. So I'm gonna talk about the conspiracy and how the fucking right wing immediately jumped on this shit. Because I've never been so filled with just a pure hatred and rage for a lot of the just grifting ghouls in the right-wing ecosystem. But first, before we get to the dark shit, I kind of want to talk about if you have resources you would like to donate, where those can go. Red Cross Northwest Region. The Red Cross has been doing good work here. Honestly, they have. They have been, so if you don't know, all of these people, tens of thousands of people, hundreds of homes, I think over 600 homes are burned to the fucking ground. And hundreds more, if not thousands, are in some form of danger. How could this possibly be a partisan issue? Oh, that, see, you'd think. And also, Aaron Arrow, hello. Aaron and now, thank you very much for being here. You would think, but I was dual watching this to keep an eye on news to see if my family and friends were safe. I was looking at Spokane on feeds like Facebook, on Twitter, places I never fucking go, like goddamn Facebook. And it was not an hour after the first evac notices were given before I saw people. And here's something, because I've seen people talk in the chat about it being arson. I saw, until yesterday when somebody was actually arrested, who was not, by the way, the person that people kept claiming it was, until a serial arsonist was arrested, who was actually a just white dude who has a prior manslaughter charge. The narrative was, and this was entirely spread, I watched it spread like a fucking cancer. The narrative was that it was a fire started by illegal encampments. Now, that went two directions. One, some people repeated that as, it was illegal immigrants. And two, some people repeated it as it was homeless encampments. Both of them were completely not true. And yet I saw dozens and dozens of fucking conservatives, people from Spokane, mostly a lot of people from outside of Spokane, being like, oh yeah, no, I heard this, I heard. Motherfucker, you heard nothing. You saw something and you just immediately fucking believed it. And that became the narrative. The narrative then also became that, this was because of poor Democrat management. This was because this is a red fucking area. Spokane is a red area, a pretty hard red area. So it was so, needless to say, as I watched My home city burned down. I had to also deal with that. Partners Inland Northwest is another really good one that are currently accepting donations of non-perishable food, clothing, diapers, hygiene items, and financial gifts. The Home Fund, Home Starts Here Fund to help individuals and families affected by the Spokane wildfires. So here's the thing. Our governor, the other half of it is I was keeping up to date on every fucking broadcast for the first like 2 or 3 days. I had KHQ playing in the background while I was trying to work and was mostly just browsing the damage in a state of stress. And at no point, and because here's how I know there was no fucking like, ooh, it was the illegal immigrants. Multiple times, reporters would ask police, fire commissioners, investigators, county overseers, all the advisors who had been brought in, interstate task forces, all this shit. All of these hundreds of people were coordinating. And people would ask, hey, there was one question I remember, I just remember the way it was worded from the journalist, because the journalist was like, there's been speculation that you have a suspect in line, and the person in charge of arresting people was like, no, like I didn't hear anything about that, because until they had a suspect, it was bullshit. They had not let anything out like that. It was just fucking hearsay spreading all around, which doesn't help anybody. A lot of this was made worse by the fucking most troglodyte armchair analysts I've ever seen. And again, Spokane doesn't go through a lot of natural disasters, so maybe this is just the first time I've seen it happen up close. But when I was watching the news feed, there was this one motherfucker I got into, and I admit it, I let him get my goat more than he should have. But there was one motherfucker who was just kept spreading conspiracies about, like, they got to be hiding something. Why haven't they showed helicopter footage? Why have they showed footage of the destruction? What are they hiding? Why are they hiding something? Why didn't somebody fly a drone in there? Hey, all they have to do to show people that they're not hiding anything is because they're trying, like, this guy was trying to fucking weather weapons and energy weapons were like a thing that immediately conspiracy theorists latched onto. The same shit they did in Hawaii where they're like, oh yeah, the fucking space lasers did this. And like just seeing people be like, yeah, no, if the government wasn't actually hiding something, then they would let me fly my fucking hot toys, my fucking Radio Shack drone in there. It's like, literally, and then here's the thing. Somebody tried. Was it yesterday? Day before yesterday. The announcements, the daily announcements, because firefighters are fucking out there. They're giving updates daily and basically telling all civilians, just stay the fuck away. Just let us have this. Like, let us take this. And day before yesterday, because... And I tried to like impress upon this person a little bit that, like, yeah, numbnuts, it's really smart to send a drone into airspace where multiple federal and interstate agencies are coordinating with several large fucking aircraft. There are multiple, like, Boeing 747 fire suppression planes in the air around this right now. When we were talking, there were multiple helicopters. And he's like, why doesn't the news chopper, NBC has billions of dollars, with something he literally said, NBC has billions of dollars, why don't they chart a news helicopter out there? And to give you an idea, this is how much the average fucking person who sits there being like, well, why doesn't the government do this, knows about fuck all and shit. NBC, the local news affiliate, is not owned by NBC. They are an affiliate. They are a local partner of NBC. They are a locally owned company. People have no fucking idea how news or any of that shit works. Whatever. Point being, KHQ does not have fucking private helicopter money, let alone for just flying out over a fucking fire. And so what happened was like 2 days ago, the same thing I said would happen happened, and some dickhead was flying a drone around, and the fire commissioner had to come out and be like, hey, knock it the fuck off. You are flying in airspace we need and are using. Like, this shit with just... It's the thing where there is a certain contingent of Americans just cannot accept that they don't know fucking everything about everything. That there might be things that they can't just go like, oh yeah, I just put fucking duct tape on it and that'll work. It's very fucking frustrating. Mm-hmm. They don't use 747s, by the way. DC-10, that's the one I was thinking of. Dead Domain Free Award. Quote, if I'm not personally allowed to stick my nose in this situation, they're hiding something from us. It's arrogant and selfish conspiracy brain. Exactly. Mackenzie, thank you for $5. Something else that angers me is how anti-vaxxers think they won because of Rand Paul. They want to destroy all modern men and set us back centuries. And it's like the same fucking brain. Honestly, it's the same kind of like person that just thinks like you can anyway, it's just vibes, and I'm very annoyed with it right now. But yes, if you want good resources to go and help people, I would recommend with the Home Starts Here Fund, because while the governor technically said that like he had a good conversation with Trump about getting federal funding and federal relief for the disaster that people are going through, I don't think literally anybody can count on that when it comes down to it. And knowing how shitty and slimy insurance companies are to begin with, people are going to need a lot. There are let me do that. All right, so I'm going to do that real quick. Like it's so fucking hard to imagine, because like people were, and this, so I watched them fucking dropping this shit all day too. Like this is how they drop the fire retardant. Although this looks like AI. This looks like AI. Look at how fucking close no, there's no fucking way it gets that close to the ground. It's not? Are you sure? Yeah, something about that looks hinky to me. All right, awesome. Still, I'm trusting you on this one. Okay, there we go. Oh yeah, goddamn, I guess it is that shit. It's hard to tell from where I am or out here, but like, yeah, I was seeing those things fly around and refuel and fly around and refuel. Yeah, no shit, that's real low and slow. Sheesh. Yeah. Okay, I stand corrected. God damn. Damn. Oh yeah, and that's like, and that just to again put it in your mind that people look at that and being like, yeah, what if we flew a drone over there? Like fucking the amount of I really I'm thankful it isn't happening today. I'm thankful it hasn't happened yet, but I have a terrible feeling that one day there's going to be a fucking drone that gets sucked up into a turbine of one of those things and causes not just a major fire, but an airline accident too. Yeah. Give me 1 second. I need to go get nasal spray because I'm getting congested because of the smoke. I will be right back, y'all. Let me put on... Yeah, so really quick, if you haven't seen it yet, here is the full video of the, like, just at the beginning of the fire. This is how far the smoke was spreading across the city. And there was, over here, was a second fire. So by the time the sun set, there was an entire second plume going over here. And so right down, no, there's no downed. Oh, no. This is not from the downed medical plane. We'll talk about fucking Pete Hegseth. Fucking, I completely fucking forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me. Military test. And they covered it up. Military jamming. Yeah, actual wall of smoke. Yes, it was. I can't tell you how surreal it was seeing that fire, because there was a church right behind me, and I was out there watching the fire for hours, just looking at my phone, looking at the fire, looking at the planes, keeping an eye on the evacuation map, and the church bells going off while watching that. That was rough. But anyway, I'll be right back, y'all. Alrighty. So yeah, that has been the Spokane fire. It is not over yet. It is incredibly scary right now. Yeah, everybody, I checked with all my friends and family. I checked with people locally. It's just, it's rough, you know, because a lot of people, like, and I know people who are affected, and it's one of those things where literally everybody I know knows somebody who was affected or were affected themselves to some level. Like, that's how Spokane is a city, but it's not a massive city. It, like, when you see that destruction, when you see the aftermath of the fire,
rising temperatures in Washington are complicating the wildfire response. Dry heat reaching the 90s can fuel the flames. Tens of thousands of people remain under evacuation orders. The fires have destroyed more than 700 buildings, many of them homes. CBS News national correspondent Chris Van Cleve is in Spokane for us. Chris, so tell us, what are the major challenges that fire crews are facing right now?
Well, fire crews have been
it's way bigger than Yakima, yeah.
Focused on building fire breaks, cutting fire lines around these three
let's get
fires.
Here's the
deteriorate. This is a bit of a beat the clock scenario here. Temperatures start rising notably today. By Friday, they'll be pushing triple digits. but the wind is supposed to stay calm today and tomorrow. That gives them about 48 hours to continue.
Like, I know that fucking intersection, dude. You know, like I've been on that road hundreds of times.
That work, hopefully have the support of water dropping aircraft and things before the wind picks up. When the wind picks up, so does the fire danger. Here's what the county sheriff told us about the days ahead. How concerned are you about the fires roaring back to life over the next few days?
And here is...
I mean, it's house after house after house. This entire block, both sides of the street, has burned, and people were coming back yesterday to realize they didn't have a lot to come home to. And it's not just this block, it's not just this neighborhood. This is playing out across several parts of Spokane County. We talked to one woman who made it back to her house yesterday.
There's nothing. I think what's hitting me the most is honestly just driving down the road that I have for so many years and seeing all of my neighbors' houses gone, and to see it completely devastated is just mind-boggling.
You know, and with wildfires, you know, 1 block, 2 blocks over might be fine, but then you turn a corner and it's just utter.
I don't fuck with Facebook. Never mind. Here we go.
Yeah, Stephen and Marissa, in the neighborhood we're just a few blocks from where we were yesterday morning, and you saw all of the devastation. Here's what's interesting. To your point, one side of the street is still sad. You look at every single home on both sides of the street completely gone, and then the neighbors on the backside were okay. I went a little farther into the neighborhood, and the entire neighborhood behind the street that we were on also leveled. So
look at that. Hundreds of houses.
they were concerned about perhaps maybe even some water leaks. Yesterday, they were turning off some of the water. They did mention perhaps the possibility of gas leaks. I do know that they were trying to get those off first thing once these fires came through here, because that's one thing you don't want to have happen. We continue to watch today. We're trying to get back to the fires this morning, or at least to the neighborhood. But again, they are keeping us back. This after we got that breaking news that came in on Monday that we told you about 37-year-old Aaron Farinacci, who was arrested on first-degree arson. We talked to a couple of residents yesterday as we were kind of standing by. Here's what one man had to say about the whole situation.
Joey J, thank you for $5. Have to run. Very glad you're safe. Please say that way. I will. I'll do my best. Julia Loves, thank you for $2. Hello, I'm a cat major on your stream. You may. I don't know. The hard part is like people, leaving for work, because the fire happened in the middle of the day on Saturday. And so people left for work thinking they're going to come home to their house. They're going to come home to their pet. They're going to come home to their memories. And that didn't happen for hundreds, for thousands of people in family homes. This is climate collapse. For all the fucking finger pointing, for all of the both sizing, for all of the blaming that people want to do, it doesn't matter if you vote Democrat or Republican. It doesn't fucking matter. This is a long time coming, and we are forced to pay the piper. People have known about this, and the fact that we still have a president in office who is willfully flaunting, destroying environmental regulations. The fact that we have created more data centers to suck up more energy and poison more ground reserves. These things are accelerating because the people who are extracting value want to extract as much as they can while they can. And it's very frustrating because watching people, again, immediately online try and politicize it. Matt Van Swole, Nick Sortor, you absolute subhuman worms, you fucking wretched goblins. Just immediately being like, oh, this is the Democrats' fault. This is da 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 da. It's all of our fault, really. It is. At some point, you have to accept that the fact that we still have Trump among us is all of our fault. It's true. Yeah, collective punishment. Mother Nature doesn't discriminate. It's rough because I think the scariest part to me is that this fire season isn't even close to over nationally, including for us. It's going to get, this week is already ratcheting back up. We had, because of all the smoke, the last 2 days we had like a heat dome or a cool dome over the fucking city. It dropped the next day to like 60 degrees from like 100. It's fucking crazy because the sunlight can't get through. It's just cold. And now it's breaking a little bit, which means it's heating back up. Yeah, El Nino, the super El Nino hasn't even kicked in yet. So if you live in an area that is likely to be affected by wildfires, please take precautions. Please, if you are in an area that is at risk of wildfire danger, have a go bag with all of your things. Keep your, look up what you need for a go bag because you're going to want to have your birth certificate, social security card, important paperwork, all of that shit. El Nino continues to get stronger as we get deeper into hurricane season with the long-range outlook showing we're still on track to see potentially one of the strongest on record this fall or winter. Oh my God, cat. All right, give me 1 second. Cat now wants food. That's what you sound like. No, that's what you sound like. That's what you sound like. Here you go, dork. Yeah, enjoy your goop. All right. Like the scary part is, okay, now what happens if, and this is a very real eventuality, what happens if the fires pick back up here, but they start down in California, or they start in Colorado, or they start in Montana? There are several reckonings coming, and none of us, I think, are really ready. And that's been a large part of my kind of, and hey, maybe it's just where I am. Maybe it's just the last week. Maybe it's just seeing people's reactions to it. Because yeah, there's the disheartening thing is that so many people fall back on like, well, we're community, we form together, we support each other, and that's true. That is true. People have been so kind and so generous and so charitable because it is the right thing to do, but I really fucking wish that we didn't have to get to this point to have that stewardship over each other. I wish we didn't have to get to the point where people are fleeing their homes, where we have climate refugees in our own cities. Because it's going to keep happening to smaller cities like Spokane first. The places that are more likely to be forgotten. The places that tend to fall by the wayside in conversations. The places where, and another thing I saw, by the way, if you are one of the people out there who is saying, well, Spokane voted red, this is what they get, fuck you. I don't know. It's been, if you couldn't tell, it's been hard emotionally the last couple days. So, yeah, anyway. Let's talk about another fire disaster. Military jamming disrupted a medical plane's GPS system before it crashed last month in New Mexico. The GPS on a small medical plane that crashed into a mountainside malfunctioned because the military was jamming that signal throughout the area at the time, although pilots had been warned to expect that. 4 people died in a pre-dawn crash that sparked a wildfire that burned for weeks. In the rugged Capitan Mountains around Ruidoso, where the plane was trying to land that night. National Transportation Safety Board released a preliminary report on the crash that described the GPS problems the pilots encountered, but investigators won't identify the cause of the crash until they finish their final report sometime next year. The controller even contacted the military and got it to shut down the jammers, but then shortly before the crash, the pilots told controllers they had the airport in sight and planned to land visually, so controllers gave the military the okay to resume jamming, which, by the way, absolutely shouldn't be the fucking case. They should have been, maybe that was on the pilots, maybe that was on the military. I think that was on both of them. If that is the case, you should land first before you fucking see that. If you can see the runway, can you see the mountain? Would you fly into it? Hey. Oh my God. All right, give me a second. Okay. Yeah, so needless to say, I've been needing some good vibes, right? And Abdul al-Sayed came through for me in a weird way. So I want to, because it's been a really fun day online for me. I've been look, and I know I shouldn't poke them as much, but I'm gonna have to get like a fucking liberal. I was seriously thinking like I can get like a liberal tears mug, because I want to give money to like Steven Crowder or some shit. But there's got to be like I could probably score one on the cheap from like eBay or some shit, right? Right. Hey. Oh my God. There's a dog outside, I guess. All right, we're going to watch this really quick while my dog has a conniption about this.
I will continue.
So if you don't know, this was Haley Stevens, the Syed's primary challenger, who is backed by AIPAC money to the tune of $70 million.
To fight for the people of Israel. I will continue to fight for Israel's existence. Israel comes to me in my dreams. I see Israel's future, and I know that Israel will continue to exist
God, why now? Why wouldn't that fucking resonate with Michigan voters? Who's to say? Who's to say? The messaging of Israel comes to me in my dreams wasn't a winning strategy, despite spending $70 million in the DNC running a pretty racist campaign against al-Sayed. But let's, you know what? That's not all they got to say. Really quick, we'll watch this.
In another case, another political battle, tomorrow voters will have their say in Michigan's Senate Democratic primary. Moderate Democratic Congresswoman Haley Stevens is facing off against former public health official progressive Abdul al-Sayed. Now, Haley Stevens is facing Senate Democratic primary. Moderate Democratic Congresswoman Haley Stevens is facing off against former public health official progressive Abdul al-Sayed. Now, the race has turned into a huge reflection of tensions within the Democratic Party. CNN Chief Data Analyst Harry Enton joining us now. All right, Harry, who looks to be the favorite?
Why? What is the? I don't watch CNN, so I'm like really confused about her vibe. It's throwing me off. All right, we're gonna go a little bit further. All right, let's get to it. All right.
He thinks it's a bit of a loaded question here. He believes that Michiganders will elect him. And he said, you know, an elected official always says that electability is on their side, but he, of course, is running from the outside. But he also talked specifically about his own upbringing and his own background, of course, even going back to when he was a high school student at the time of 9/11 and how he was embraced. So if he would be elected, he would be the first Muslim elected to the U.S. Senate here. So for all of the outside currents going on in this
which,
race here,
by the way, is fucking insane, dude. Like, how have we not had one Muslim senator? Like, are we? That's crazy. Yeah, Crochet Whimsy and anybody blaming black Michiganders, by the way, is fucking stupid. Like the core of the issue, because Dems are doing this shit too. Dems are doing this thing. The libs and the DNC shills are doing this shit where they're trying to. We'll go through some of the stuff. I've had some spicy takes online, but there's a wide variety of stuff that you can basically just categorize under cope. Like a lot of people just coping with this shit. And I'll go through it all because they're coming up with such creative ways to cope.
The progressive versus the insurgent, talking about funding for Israel. It is also about Michigan issues. It's about affordability.
It's more about Michigan issues. So here's the thing. A lot of people are trying to portray it because it came out that al-Sayed was more popular with college-educated voters and people who tend to be a little bit more affluent, and the working class was more popular with Stevens. The problem is with this, the narrative they're trying to spin is that this person who was funded by AIPAC to the tune of $70 million, Little Miss Israel comes to me in my dreams, Little Miss backed by fucking Schumer and Pelosi, was actually the candidate of the working people and not the guy who campaigned on getting money out of politics, shutting down PACs, stopping private spending in political lobbying, shutting down Citizens United, putting his entire platform, the slogan was less money in politics, more money in your pocket. That was the game al-Sayed was running. You deserve health care. The DSA approved platform. You deserve health care. You deserve a livable wage. You deserve to not have all of your fucking candidates bought and sold for you. There is a far difference between people who are politically engaged and then the people who are establishment. The people that the DNC for so long has targeted as the old reliable voter base. And this is the problem with the DNC. This is the problem that libs are running into right now, is that people are fucking tired of spending decades voting for a party that says they have working class interests in mind, but absolutely do fucking not. Oh my gosh, thank you very much. Necosaurus, hey Saurus, thank you for rating with the party for 61. Nehemia, thank you for $5. As the resident Jew, she is so fucking weird for this and more. She and her ilk are just liars. They don't think about us at all unless they need a pull boost. because I was thinking about this too, it is such a weird thing how much Israel has become a focal point in a way it wasn't like 5-6 years ago. And it has to be that way because they have to justify the ongoing genocide. They have to justify, hey, why are you taking money from the genocidal campaign killing children on the daily? Like we just had, by the way. Barely reported one of the largest mass funerals in history in Gaza yesterday. 112 people. Oh, fuck you. How many people saw this, by the way, yesterday on mainstream news? I've seen the fucking Haley Stevens clip going around for days. One of the largest mass funerals in human history. And it gets no fucking coverage. I wonder why. Like, it got covered by some mainstream outlets. But your third one is News Corp. Reuters is fourth. You're relying on Telesur, English, Egypt Today, Modern Ghana, Al Jazeera, Reuters Connect, thecradle.co. Where the fuck is Fox News? Where's CBS? Where's MSNBC? Where's NBC? Where's CNN? That should give you a lot of insight into the priorities and the attention being paid from the mainstream press.
Hours of this race, both of these candidates are campaigning only with Michigan people at their side. They're trying to make this race about Michigan. Of course, for national Democrats, it's about far more than that.
Yeah, no question
Ronnie.
about it. The divides are very, very pronounced. Jeff Zeleny from Lansing, thank you so much. My panel is back. Tia, how much fear is there in this town among Democratic leaders about what may turn out tomorrow?
A lot of fear, and I think their fear is rooted in the fact that the polling, the excitement, the intention seems to be favoring El Sayed. Now, of course, it's Michigan voters get the final say, and we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Haley Stevens could pull it out, but, you know, I think she's the underdog right now, and they are concerned.
So pollsters apparently had El Sayed, and this is something I was arguing with fucking Hutch about, you bald bib-wearing bitch. I was arguing with Hutch about this because now that Sayed has been declared the winner, the argument has shifted to actually, no, the polls were misleading people. Oh my God. All right. They're telling me, awesome Stella, I'm hearing in my headset that they're telling me to keep watching because it gets worse. El Sayed is the winner of the Michigan primary for Democratic senators, so they will be moving on to the actual general election this November against the Republican candidate. Rob, whatever the fuck his name is. Rob? I don't know. Some cracker shit.
Concerned about electability. They are concerned that someone as progressive as him, I think we cannot ignore the fact that he's a Muslim and a person of color, and people's concerns that will not be palatable to voters in the middle. And so there's just a lot of concern about electability and just not. I just think it's just. It's not just his messaging. Yeah. That
the amount of fucking people who are now saying that, like, oh no, because it was such a close margin, there's no way he can beat a Republican. The Republicans first. Oh, I'll show y'all. It
makes Democrats concerned.
We often hear, though,
that's fucking insane. That is a fucking insane. The amount of Islamophobia. Mike Rogers, thank you. Yes, God, he's got fucking Adar7993. The Gauge Money said Mike Rogers right after you. Whitey Whiterson might as well be the same fucking name. Like, his name could be fucking Hank Bingley for all I know. That is a white ass white dude. Nehemia, thank you very much for $10. By the way, Israel doesn't control the U.S. The U.S. has more money / power. Is choosing to fund / support the colonial project. Jews / Zionists are scapegoat for the U.S. military industrial complex and empire. Yes, and I want to be clear. I don't think Israel owns the U.S. by any stretch, but I think that there is a vested interest in particularly the military industrial complex and the relationship we have with Israel and things like AI, data centers, surveillance apparatus, military contracting. There is a shit ton of money flowing between the two, and none of it's for anything fucking good, by the way. Yeah, let me go to, because I want to talk about some of the cope we've been seeing. Oh Christ. Let me go to this, because I've been dunking on fools a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. Sorry, I've been sharing some stuff. Here we go. This is Mike Rogers. And as I said, because a lot of Dems are going to tell you that, oh my God, or have been saying, haha, now that a progressive got elected. By the way, all the vote blue no matter who people fucking shivering their timbers right now. People like Hutch. In fairness, Hutch said he's going to vote for El Sayed. A lot of people haven't. A lot of people are like, I'm not voting for El Sayed. A lot of people are saying, well, that's okay. I'm going to vote for Republican because I won't support a Muslim. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, no, it's a lot of motherfuckers being like, vote blue no matter who. And then when how the turntables, then suddenly it's like, well, vote blue no matter who, unless it's somebody I don't like. And they want you to believe that El Sayed's messaging to working class families of being able to put food on their fucking table, being able to work an honest day's labor and getting the payment they deserve will not resonate with people in Michigan, will not resonate in people in Detroit, will not resonate with these major former manufacturing centers that have fallen on incredibly hard times and been ransacked by private fucking interests. They want to tell you that El Sayed's messaging of getting those private interests out of their fucking lives will not resonate. And instead, oh no, it's a layup for the Republicans now because, meanwhile, what's the Republican messaging? Mike Rogers coming out swinging hot, being like, I spent my life hunting terrorists.
Only thing he said, we got him. That's all he said on the phone. We got him.
We got one Muslim Senate candidate, and the first Republican campaign ad in the first 5 seconds shows Osama bin Laden.
Leon Panetta at that time was the CIA director, and he calls down and said, there's some things we want to share with you. They had a mock-up of exactly where he was in his facility. So they had spent months working on all of this, months, if not years. So we went through the process, and then we went through the pictures, and do you think that's Osama bin Laden or not? And remember, they weren't clear at that time. You know, you look at it and you go, okay, his gait is the same. I mean, it was pretty detailed discussions about every aspect of it, because he had a pattern that he would go out walking about the same time every day in this yard, because he was cooped up too. Remember, the whole world was looking for him. I mean, I came away from the conclusion and listened to her briefing, and I thought, yeah, that's absolutely him. And then we just watched as the acuity got better and better and better and better and better and better. And then, the director came down and said, we're going to move on this. Get a call like 2 days later. Only thing he said, we got him. That's all he said on the phone. We got him. And I knew exactly what he was talking about. It was an incredible feeling, knowing that America finally brought this guy to justice.
That's his messaging. That is the messaging that right now the Dems, the people who are trying to slander and shame the DNC, or sorry, not the DNC, the DSA and their candidates, who, by the way, it's always fucking shifting goalposts. I'll talk about this in a second too. And yes, Karenelle, if people could donate a little bit to Karenelle's GoFundMe, the link is posted right now on Twitch. I would really appreciate it. They want to tell you that the messaging of making life, healthcare, having a family more affordable at a time when Republicans are historically fucking unpopular is somehow an impossible achievement. That messaging is just going to hand over fist, lose to a minute and a half of, yeah, but we done shot Osama bin Laden. Somehow, and look, I'm not saying it's going to be an easy race. It probably won't be. If anything, it's going to have to be Syed's campaign fighting against these fucking ruiners from the DNC. I'm not going to say it's going to be an easy race, but I have a little bit of fucking faith over this shit. Because, like, did y'all... That's what the Republicans are bringing right now. We're going to go hunt down bear. Fucking, they got Duck Dynasty motherfuckers out here that could give a fuck about your healthcare, could give a fuck about your child getting weeks of diarrhea from eating the wrong lettuce, could give a fuck about whatever vaccines are no longer required so all the kids keep getting sick, could give a fuck about whatever diseases or infections are on the horizon, could give a fuck about the impending climate collapse we're going through right now. And the Dems want to sell you the idea the same way they have for fucking decades. That, well, you gotta vote for us because we're the only real alternative. There's this pathological, bizarre. This one was particular. I wanted to read this because this is maximum grade copium, right? If you are not inoculated to copium, this might cause an overdose. So, like, fair warning, fair dues to everybody. Really quick, I'm going to read these. Lady French, thank you for $2. Dems, we can't lose the racist vote. Oh, God. Barry Fennel, HIV. I hope you like Hep C with heroin. Are you good, dog? Are you good? Are you good, bro? Barry Fennel, are you all right? Goblin Culinarian, thank you for 25 bits. The take I keep hearing is that Abdul needs to run from Hassan now and start casting the widest net he can. Yeah, like now the operation is them, which, by the way, after these fucking lib dipshits spent so long being like, vote blue no matter who, vote blue no matter who, you have to earn our vote. You have to earn our vote. To us, to leftists and progressives and people who want actual accountability and want to get money out of politics, who want to be able to afford a living wage, who don't just want fucking stooges like Schumer and Pelosi running everything forever. Hey, so you can keep sending billions of dollars in your tax money to the Israeli baby murdering machine, right? They want to now turn the tables and be like, you have to earn our vote. You have to earn our vote. After being such fucking cunts about one of the worst presidential candidates ever. Doggy. Did that one dipshit say anything else? Did you ban him? Barry Fennel? Yeah. Dang. I was hoping that was a loser I could play with. Anyway, so here is the this is like weapons grade cope. Cuz this thing happens where so many of these people, they make it clear that they don't actually see these things as issues that affect people. They feel that because they have worn their bumper sticker slogan t-shirts and because they've gone out and shown up to protest before going to brunch, always leaving before actual protesters get shot, before actual tear gas comes out, because they are a bunch of chicken shits who don't stand for much of anything except fucking signs that say, in this house, we believe that humans are humans. And that's the extent of that. They want so much appreciation for effectively doing nothing except enabling the rise of fascism that we're seeing now. And then they depict it as, oh no, we've been fighting on the front lines the whole time. Have you though? Have you though? Sorry. Years and years of spreading Orange Man bad memes. Where did it get us, libs? Years and years of spreading kafefe, huh? Kafefe, right? Where did it fucking get us? Years and years of ignoring the people who are supposed to be. Here's the thing. And I said this in a tweet. Politicians have been turned into influencers. They've been turned into celebrities. It's why you have, every time they want to pump one up, why you have them going on these big mainstream podcasts. It's why they had fucking Kamala all over those podcasts, trying to prop them up, trying to make them seem relatable. I don't give a fuck if a politician is relatable. They don't need to be influencers. That's the shit that got us where we are right now, with the entire cabal of sad sacks infesting Trump's cabinet, who all want to be celebrities. They all want to be influencers. Politicians are not some class that is deigned from the heavens. They don't have the fucking mandate of the sun. They are, always have been, and should only be regarded in terms of being employees of the people they are supposed to represent. If they do not act in the interests of the people who vote for them, they need to fucking go. The Democrat Party has long forgotten this. They have become so complacent through the same amount, by the way, of gerrymandering that conservatives and Republicans will do to make sure they get all their districts and all the ones, and oh, here we go, and dip it. And it continually fails to work in any meaningful degree. Because all they want to do is uphold the status quo. The status quo has been great to Democrats. It's been great to people like Pelosi and Schumer and all those fucking cunts. Why wouldn't they want to uphold it? So when you have people with far less money, with far less resources coming and disrupting that system, promising to hold people accountable, promising to get all the fucking cushy lobbyist money out of politics, that's not really great for upholding their status quo. The same status quo as the Republicans, by the way. When you have people focusing more on putting money back into the pockets of the people, on helping people be able to live the lives they deserve, on helping people be able to get and pursue education, be able to get and pursue careers, be able to get and have health care, not have to go into life-ruining debt because something goes wrong in their life one time. Because focusing on all those things, it doesn't make you money. It doesn't make you the same money that will be made by Haley Stevens going out and saying, I see Israel in my dreams, will get you from AIPAC for re-election. It won't make you the same money that signing off on data centers in people's backyards will. But it's the right fucking thing to do. Yeah, Darkhan. They've had tons of time to provide some sort of proof. They have done none of it behind trust me, bro, and just Google. Oh, no, you're talking about the person in chat. Whoa, okay, hang on. Sorry, I'm catching up on chats. Ah. In Minecraft, Johnny Viral, in Minecraft. No, we can't fed post about data centers or flock cameras, even though neither of those things should exist. And I think it's entirely morally justifiable. It might not be legal, but it is morally justifiable to. It's morally justifiable if those things don't exist. Let me put it that way. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying. We're gonna have a little tete-a-tete on what is or isn't okay to say. We're going to talk about what Asmon's been saying lately, because, like, I feel like if Asmon doesn't get banned, it's going to open up a whole Pandora's box of shit people are going to start saying. Because, like, that motherfucker is out here saying some real bullshit. That's fucking crazy. That is like, you know what? Maybe I should stop pulling my punches on saying this person needs to be, you know? Axon cameras too now. Oh yeah, like literally any kind of surveillance apparatus. Hey, if I were to come across somebody doing something that I don't know is illegal, but might be questionable in legality, to any kind of surveillance apparatus, any kind of delivery drone, any kind of fucking Waymo or robot traveling along human streets. I don't see it. I'm sorry, I don't see it. I have a clinical disease. It is diagnosed where if somebody in my vision vandalizes or destroys part of the surveillance state apparatus, I physically can't see it. It's like it's not happening at all. I'm sorry. I can't be held accountable for it if I don't see it. Like, police can ask me, like, well, but did you see anything here? And I'll just say, man, no banana in the tailpipe, and I'm gone. I'm out. I don't see it. Anyway, back to the DNC cope. I want to really get the umami going on this one. I want everybody to kind of taste it. Like, let's stew in it a little bit, you know? DSAers really want liberals to be freaking out today. This is because our pain serves as their narcissistic supply. They need control over the emotional states of others in order to feel alive. Now, off the bat, you can tell this is an entirely emotional argument with nothing but vibes. This is not based in any kind of fact. This is based purely in, and I speculate that a lot of these dorks have some kind of unresolved high school bully trauma. That might be me. Like, I'm probably wrong about that, but I feel there's something. There's something there. Like, there is some kind of inferiority complex they have where it cannot just be that they lost because policy is bad, because voters are rejecting the fact that they can spend $70 million and fall flat on their fucking face compared to a working class supporting message. So they have to mythologize it. They have to pathologize it. They have to ascribe it to some darker, more nebulous, more evil instinct of the DSA. These people, they want to take it over. They want to, like, y'all just a bunch of salty fucking bitches. There's one reason they always attack Democrats, never Republicans. Now, can you wonder why that might be? Could it be that Democrats don't actually represent the working class and continue to leave them behind in favor of serving the oligarchs who keep propping up their fucking campaigns? Who's to say? Let's see what they say. It's because Republicans are essentially immune to bullying from the left, so there is no emotional state to abuse. Yeah, man. Leftists famously never attack Republicans. You never see Hassan. You never see Carolyn Kwan. You never see Riverboat Jack or anybody else on the left. You never see actual Jake. You never see Suris. You never see them attacking conservatives. I only reserve all of my ire for liberal Democrats who I think about once a year when they piss me off during elections and campaigns. That's come on, man. Come on. They're just making shit up. Thing is, whereas liberals used to be sensitive to DSA-type bullying, we've become quite immune over time. This part is fucking funny. I'm sorry. I hope other people find... If you don't find this as funny as I do, let me know. I'll skip past it. But there are so many things here. I might go sentence by sentence here. Because it is... it's one of those things where I just read it and I'm like, it's so fascinating that people exist in this world and think like this. You generally think that, this. We are deeply hardened due to the trauma of Trump. Also, we've been accused by the DSA and their ilk of moral crimes ranging from wanting people to die en masse from diabetes, rape denialism, and ... the commission of genocide, among many other things. Well, if you're a Zionist, you are in support of the genocide. It's inextricably linked to your support and state of, well, Israel has a right to defend itself. No. Israel is a illegitimate colonizer state that is running a mass extermination campaign in broad daylight, and they have been for fucking years. The idea that they are still running this fucking line every day of this week, I've seen dead children on the timeline. And sorry. Whew. Sorry. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I was talking to Koa the other day where Koa was like, they had seen something and they gave me kind of a content warning on. It was like a picture of an injury somebody had, but it wasn't graphic, but it was like a little gory, and I was like, no, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I've seen too much today. Because yeah, I've seen a lot of dead kids, man. And every fucking time I can only think people will look at that and be like, yeah, that's an acceptable loss. If the DNC and the Democrats can look at the genocide, can see 60,000 reported by UNICEF, 60,000 children killed or injured. And think that's an acceptable loss? Anybody who can think that's acceptable, to me, is an acceptable loss for our political system. I do not want to be in league with somebody who can look at that and go, yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Anyway, here's the because we'll talk about that more in a second. Given how long we've been in this anti-fascist fight while simultaneously getting battered by the far left, liberals return to emotional baseline quite quickly these days. I'm sorry, this whole screed, this is not an emotional baseline. Yeah, we get upset, angry, frustrated, and another thing is that they love depicting themselves as like the adults in the room, because of course all of these working class people who work jobs and know what the fuck they're talking about, and people like El Sayed who has 2 degrees, they like to be like, oh, these silly socialists, these silly anarchists and commies and tankies and whatever the fuck else shit they'll try and smear people as. They don't know what they're talking about. It's part of the condescension of the entire endeavor, where it is this constant goalpost moving where they're like, oh, you silly little DSA people, you don't have any popular platform. Then they get a popular platform, they get support. You don't have any candidates. They get a candidate like Mamdani. You won't win any elections. Mamdani wins an election. But you won't be able to win any primaries for Senate candidates. We win a primary for a Senate candidate. And then it moves to what it currently is. You won't be able to win an election. So take 5 fucking guesses what happens after we win an election. You won't be able to pass any legislation. You won't be able to. It's just going to keep fucking going. It's going to keep going. And you need to keep that in mind every time one of these DNC slugs, 3-letter acronyms that start with D are fucking me up. No, they do. Lunette said that the other day, called the DSA and drinking club that young people like because it's cool and exciting. They can hook up. It's just like they genuinely think, how are you going to pay for it? Yeah, exactly. Just to be here 4 and 9. How are you going to pay for it is the craziest shit ever, because it's like, dog, maybe we just don't send billions overseas. Maybe we just cut back on fucking defense spending and foreign interventionist wars and acts of aggression with foreign countries. Maybe we aren't sending all of our missile reserves over to fucking Iran. Like, I don't know, man. Where are we going to pay for it? How about out of the fucking money we are spending on murdering people? That crazy fucking idea. Okay. No, exactly. Black hole sunfish. That's the fucking thing. Being mad at the far left while saying you're fighting fascists. The amount of fucking Dems and libs who are like, we've been fighting fascists. We've been down here in the trenches. Dump Trump. Trump is Putin's puppet. These motherfuckers have been hoisting these signs for years, saying the same shit about get oligarchy, hands off all this other shit, right? Grab them by the Constitution, all this that with the cadence of a sign that says it's wine o'clock somewhere. And then now you have a ton of people, I'll show some of these dorks too, who are suddenly, when you get a progressive candidate, because he's Muslim, I need to double underline that, because Islamophobia plays a you can't really, it's an inextricable part of the DSA's motion here is Islamophobia. That's what a lot of this is based in, and we'll talk about that too. You can't really untangle those things with the attacks on El Sayed, even though people are kind of trying. But a lot of it comes back to this kind of feeling. This indignant feeling of how dare you? How dare you? While we've been out here protesting ineffectively, while we've been out here wearing our pink pussy hats and holding pink signs in Congress during Trump speeches that do effectively fucking nothing, while we've been out here censoring people like Al Green for actually deigning to speak out, while we've been out here signing off on funding ICE so they can continue terrorizing communities, How dare you say that we aren't doing a good job fighting fascism? And there are so many of these DNC fucks right now who are going, oh yeah, well, then I guess I'm just voting for a Republican this time. Motherfucker, if your moral convictions are so thin that, and here, again, well, I'm done with this shit. Here we go. DSAers do not know how tough liberals have become because, unlike us, they have not been fighting authoritarianism for a decade. None of this has ever been about anti-fascism for them, just pure narcissistic simulation. Yeah. Bullying and bullying alone. Sad for them. Sure, dude. Here we go. This person blocked me, but fuck her. Whatever, who cares? Her whole thing was what I just said. It was, I will not vote for Al Sayed. I've been a lifelong Democratic voter, something to that effect. You can go look it up. Her Karen1Smith1 on Twitter. I've been a lifelong Democrat and I'm voting Republican. To which I say, and this is my definitive statement on the matter, if you are so easily swayed. If a genocidal gathering of child murderers is the deal breaker, and supporting that is the deal breaker, and you're willing to vote for someone, a Republican, that stands against every progressive value you might have, then you don't actually have a moral compass. You just have fealty to the genocidal campaign. This is one of the biggest problems with making Israel this wedge issue, making genocide, the murder of men, women, children, civilians, the complete desolation and destruction of civilian infrastructure, the systematic rape and torture of an entire culture. Making it a wedge issue, making it, for so many people, the only issue they fucking say, they fucking care about. At the expense that they will vote for a Republican. So they are willing to expend rights for minorities, rights for women, and by the way, the current Republican Party, the current Republican platform, the Project 2025 conservative. That's who they say they're going to vote for. The people who want to ostracize queer and trans people entirely from American life. The people who constantly support racism at every level. It doesn't matter if it's against Asian people, black people, Mexicans, Hispanic, Latino, Koreans. Doesn't matter. All of it. They're okay with it. The people who want to crush woke. The people who want to indoctrinate school children with Christian nationalism. The people who want women to die rather than have an abortion if it's a life-saving procedure and even if the fetus is non-viable. All of those things to them are preferable to the idea that we might spend money on the people here who need it instead of more munitions for Israel to murder children with. That's the moral quandary they're presenting to you. That's what they think is a compelling argument for the working class. That's what they think is a compelling political argument for earning votes. And then when they spend tens and tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars and it doesn't work out, they have the fucking nerve to turn around and be like, well, now y'all have to grovel for our votes. Motherfucker, they probably don't need your fucking votes. That's just the truth. Fem Maiden, Trump beat Harris on the popular vote by same amount Biden beat Trump on 2020. Well, and so that's the thing, is that people constantly forget about the just schismatic. There's no other way to really describe it. The schismatic nature of the median American voter. And I've talked about this before, is that like 99, not 99, that's heavy. Let's say 70, 80% of the American voting bloc, the people who will vote relatively reliably. First off, conditions have gotten drastically worse in just the last 2 years under Trump. Like, they are at a all-time low popularity level, and they sink lower literally fucking every day. Every day. If there was any time to push for progressive policy It is now. Right now. And what do they want to do? They want to run back the same fucking playbook that gave us Biden, which led directly into Trump 2, that gave us Kamala, that gave rise to Trump 1, that did fuck all with Hillary. They're like, you know what? Let's run it back. It'll work this time. It'll work this time. Yeah. No. And that, when we watched the NBC, was it the CNN panel that we were just watching? Listen to me when I say this, and believe me, it scares the shit out of the DNC. DSA-backed victories. There is a reason why Hassan continues to be lambasted, which they have effectively, by the way. The Streisand affecting of Hassan has been a kind of a beautiful thing to see, because you have both parties going as hard at him as they can. And that tells a lot of people something. It tells them that they have an interest in making sure you don't listen to this guy. When you have the conservatives and the Democrats agreeing on something right now, and to begin with, neither party are helping the American people, and neither party have high satisfaction with the American people, a lot of people see that and wisen up immediately. They go, okay, well, why? Why don't you want me to listen in? And then they might tune in for themselves or see people like him when they're out door to door and hear, hey, yeah, we're working to get you Medicare. We're working to get you health care. You deserve a livable wage. Kind of sounds not so fucking bad compared to bullshit that's happening right now. Let me go back to this. What was the other one? There's another one. Oh yeah, here's a good one. Final New York Times numbers on Stevens versus El Sayed. 6 outside groups spent $62 million. And here's the big thing. Because Hutch has been trying to they're trying to spin it. A lot of the libs are trying to spin it right now as like, oh, this was an anomaly, or oh, it was actually super close, razor thin margins. And oh, actually, this doesn't mean anything. No. Do not take your eye off of the massive amount of money and effort and time and resources that were fucking funneled to ensure that Haley Stevens would be the most unthreatening, generic milquetoast candidate possible, who would toe the party line and go along with whatever vote was fucking necessary, who wouldn't disrupt anything, who, in the process, by the way, would not work for working parties, working families, would not work for the Michiganders who voted for her, would almost certainly do nothing to actually improve the quality of life, do nothing to actually try to improve the everyday life of her constituents. $62 million, giving her a 9-to-1 spending advantage over Abdul El Sayed. Half of that came from AIPAC Super PAC. That same Super PAC spent more than any single group has in a federal Democratic primary this cycle. The real victory here is winning over private interest. That is what Haley Stevens completely represents. Haley Stevens is another assembly line generic stooge. Somebody who is basically a fucking wind-up doll that you can insert pre-programmed phrases into that will step in line with the Democratic National Convention. That will step in line with the party and whatever Schumer or Pelosi wants. The same fucking party that has been abandoning trans people, the same party that has been funding ICE, the same party that has been funding a genocide. That is why they spent that much fucking money, to not have a disruption, to not have somebody who will wade into the middle of this bullshit and say, hey, what about the people who elected us? What about the people we are supposed to serve? And you know what's happening now? Here's a great look at, by the way. This is, again, the standard Democrat voter. The people that these terminally online libs want to be like, well, now you got to earn their vote. Okay. Because a lot of people are actually okay with that. Most people would rather vote for a progressive over more AIPAC money, over continually funding a genocide, over the party that is abandoning its constituency consistently, over continuing to see Dems do nothing year after year after year after year, while constantly saying, hey, you know what? Let's fundraise. We got to defend democracy. We got to defend freedom. Can you give us $5 for our reelection so we can fight Trump? Let's go get Trump. They want the status quo to be maintained. They want, this is why all this shit with, like, we've been fighting fascism is fucking bullshit. You haven't been fighting fascism. You've been allowing it. You've been profiting off of it. The Dems aren't that different from the mainstream media in their culpability for the rise of Trump. Because as much as they want to hand wring over, oh, this is unprecedented. This is just an overextension of power. And this is blah, blah, blah. What the fuck have they done? What did they do under Biden? They had 4 fucking years. And it all came down to prosecutions, investigations, this, and it turned up fuck all. No. They don't fight fascism. They enable it. That's just the truth. They fundraise off of it. Trump and his cronies are great for the Democrat Party as it stands, current bottom line. Because every time one of these motherfuckers does something, they get to send out another email being like, if you want to help defend America, help defend democracy, if you want to get back to brunch, well, we got to take down the big orange Cheeto. Did you know there's a Cheeto in the White House? And if you give $20 to our campaign right now, we'll be able to tell him that, oh, we don't approve of his unserious tactics. Oh, I don't know why I went Nixon there. Yeah, Trump has done a no. But this, I want you to listen to this, because let me tell you, the thing that scares the DNC and the establishment Dems right now, more than anything, is that they are losing their base. Finally. The base is being offered alternatives. And they have to continually talk about how radical and how violent, how scary and how insane. Oh my gosh, these socialists and these communists. Oh, they're so. And you know why repeatedly? We saw with Mamdani, we saw with AOC, we saw with El Sayed. Do you know why this shit falls flat on its face? Because when people actually listen, it sounds a lot fucking better than the tepid bullshit, the slop, the gray goop, the soylent that the Democrat Party keeps serving you. Trying to fucking tell you it's a filet mignon. No. It's goop. Most people can see it's goop. And then you have somebody over here being like, hey, do you want like fresh veggies and like meat? Do you want something that will actually help you and enrich your life? Do you want somebody who will actually try? Actually fucking try. Imagine this. Imagine somebody who is willing to try in the political system. Can you imagine how much that fucks with them? But listen to this, because we talked about this a little bit. And I truly don't think the DNC understands how much more radical people have gotten. especially in a lot of places like Minneapolis, Minnesota, especially places that have seen a lot of raids by ICE, have seen a lot of violence from police, especially from places that are going to see a lot of climate collapse this summer. People feel abandoned, and they've come together in their communities. We saw it with the shooting of Renee Good. We saw it with the shooting of Alex Preddy. We watched for days people on the front lines, grandpas, grandmas, little old ladies coming out talking about how this isn't right. And I've never been to a protest, but it felt right to come out here, and we're out here helping the community. We watched people who haven't been politically active, people who mostly claim to be independent or conservative, being like, well, I don't really do politics, but this just ain't right. There are always those people. And in America, nobody escapes unscathed. Nobody in America goes unbrainwashed to some degree. That is the nature of American exceptionalism, right? We have our own, by the way, we have our own equivalent of Zionism. We have our own dictate that says we're just inherently better than everybody, and we call it American exceptionalism. It is the reason why you have lunkheads like Pete Hegseth talking a big macho badass fucking spiel about how, well, we're the strongest military in the world, and we are going to take our tactical warfighters and all of our tier 1 operators, and we're going to go get those bad guys, and even if we got to kill 7,000 fishermen just innocently out in the fucking middle and drone strike them, that's our right as Americans, and we're going to take all the oil, and we're going to, like, that is where this idea of American exceptionalism leads, is the idea that we are inherently better than other people, just by nature of being American, which of course is bullshit. But I want you to think back to the grandmas, the grandpas, the old white people, the unassuming people, the people of goodwill who have goodness in their hearts. Because there are so many people like that in America and don't know where to put it. Or, more accurately, a lot of times they are pushed in one direction or another. And this is the thing that I always hammer on, and why I hate the idea of people turning their back just because somebody voted red one time. Because we are united by these struggles. And there are a lot of people, and I know this is a hard thing to hear for a lot of people on the left. There are people who voted for Trump. And I'm not saying the hardcore MAGA supporters, because that's very likely not true. If people really bought into the bullshit, if people are fucking wearing Trump hats and have Trump merch, they're probably drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit more. But there are a lot of people who voted for Trump who voted because they thought it would be in their best interest, in the best economic interest of their family, who didn't pay that much attention. There are a lot of people who don't pay attention that much to fucking politics. That's just true in America. A lot of people consume this stuff passively until it affects them. But there are people who have the moral compass and the knowledge when they see something that is wrong or that is right. When you have years and years of a genocide being live streamed to every social media platform, you're letting a lot of fucking people see this is wrong. This shouldn't be fucking happening. This is morally unconscionable. When you have years and years, and this is where it comes back to, by the way. I've talked about the kind of intersectionality where you have a lot of like people who call themselves centrists or independents or libertarians who usually track in very, very similar to leftist ideas around like corporate interest buying everything, right? Like very distrustful, more old school libertarians, by the way. But corporations, private interests buying everything, and they're just buying, and the oligarchs and security state, and they're not wrong about that stuff. They're not wrong. What they are is misguided. What they are is misled. And this isn't to say that they're inherently stupid. This isn't to say that they're uneducated. I'm not saying that, it's all those Southerners, they can't read good. I'm not on some Brianna Wu shit, by the way. The Brianna Wu out here, oh my, I can't go into that. The fucking, I'm not on some Brianna Wu shit when I say that. It is our job as leftists, as progressives, to help illuminate not just the differences, but the similarities in our struggles. Because we are all more alike than we are different. It behooves not just the Democrats, but especially the conservatives, to draw those battle lines and say, oh, you need to get on this side or the other. It is why, by the way, Trump, the dictate came down from Trump that, oh, we got to hammer hard on the culture war issues. We got to hammer hard on trans issues. Who the fuck gives a shit about trans issues right now? What fucking working class family in the middle of the country cares if there's 2 students in the entire state playing on a fucking girls' volleyball team when none of them can make their house payments? When wildfires are burning down their farmland? When data centers are poisoning their water? Those are the things that are wrong. And right now, there is one contingent. There is one movement that is still forming. And it might not have all the answers, but it is fucking trying to get some degree of accountability back into politics. It is trying to manifest, to create a better future for everybody, for the voters. All right, I'm sorry. There's a bunch of stuff going on in the chat. Rising at 845, thank you very much. The future is now, old man. Silas the Raccoon, thank you for tier 1 for 6 months in a row. Hey, DD, long time no seen. Tuning back in as busy season hours are at work or kicking back up. You are helping me through the evening/afternoon. Love the work you do. Thank you so much. God bless you. I remember those busy season hours myself. That's rough shit. The Goblin Culinarian. Oh my God, exactly. Thank you for 25 bets. Hey, can I get a living wage? Republicans. Fuck you. Democrats. Fuck you. Rainbow heart emoji. Yeah. Yeah, basically. Brianna Wu, more like Brianna who? Mm-hmm. Yeah, just to be here for 9. No, she's not. She's not supportive of her own community. She is a very awful human being, who's also incredibly fucking racist. But anyway, all of that was a lead-in. Oh yeah, and Carnus Mortem. Yeah, I don't play that game here. Genuinely hate how many people act like every Southerner is a right winger too. So that's more what I was talking about. Brianna Wu recently had a fucking insane tweet where she basically said that Palestinians were like illiterate Southerners, illiterate Mississippians, that they just don't know no better, that they're just, oh, bless their heart, they're just born stupid. They don't know any better. They're born into these, like, just insane levels of both classism and racism that I was, it knocked me on my ass for a second. I was like, are you, but yeah, she is an incredibly heinous racist cunt. Yeah, we could increase the living wage, but how are we going to pay for it? I have a couple ideas. I don't fucking know. Amazing how we can always find new money for data centers or Palantir or a surveillance app or any of that shit. We can find money for that, but not like, food, medical insurance, healthcare. Gray Geiger, thank you for $5. Hey, DD, pretty off topic. I've recently begun questioning my gender. M at 33. Was wondering if you had any helpful tips. Bleh. Yeah, I mean, I would, experiment. Express yourself. Like, it is a hard thing to do, to go through those growing pains of those first couple years, especially. Because as soon as you, especially if you want to try more feminine clothing, want to try presenting more femininely, there is a there is an incredibly steep learning curve. Incredibly steep learning curve. El Salve, I don't understand why you would still have respect for your enemies, or at least people you don't like. Why? Are they not human? Dehumanization is not in my ability set. I don't believe in taking away the humanity of somebody else. I don't believe in depicting them as somehow less human for a couple of reasons. One, by saying that, oh, these people aren't human. A lot of the time, you see this with conservatives a lot, where they'll say, oh, you know, Matt Walsh, for example, loves anytime there's a black kid killed by a cop, he loves to call the kid an animal, right? He's very big on dehumanizing black people. And it allows for what's the word I'm looking for? It allows for an excuse of why these people are inherently different. It allows to say, oh no, they're not human like you or I. They aren't normal. Well, that's different. Calling Asmongold and Nick Fuentes roaches and goblins, they are disgusting humans. But they are still humans. They are still people. It is not enough. There is a reason why I try and like really pathologize or even empathize with a lot of these people. Like, I try to empathize with people like fucking Asmongold, with people like, not Nick Fuentes, but people like fucking Destiny. And I don't have to like them. Exactly, Lunette. They're humans, but they're shitty humans. That does not make them any less worthy of humanity. They've squandered it. They've used their time on Earth to be terrible people that spread vile lies and hate. That's what their existence has amounted to. But that doesn't suddenly make them something other than human. And I think the more important thing to remember there is that humans can be bad. Humans can be evil. And by saying that, oh, these people are just monsters, it allows us to distance ourselves from that. It allows us to say, you know, it's that Wolfenstein scene where he's talking to Grace, and they're talking about after New York is nuked in the video game, how monsters did this, is what BJ says. And Grace says, not monsters, men. Because you can look at the Nazis, you can look at the Reich, and you can say, yes, these are evil people. These are people who gave up their humanity. But by saying that they are some sort of more evil force, you are abstracting the reality that anybody is capable of that. Anybody can be that evil. It is part of the reason why so many predators survive and thrive in religious environments. So many people in the Catholic Church and the Mormon Church, because people will go and they say, oh, no. They're not. But they can't be bad people. They can't be pedophiles. No, they're a priest. We trust them. Like, me insulting people and me hating somebody like Asmongold is not the same as, like, intentionally dehumanizing them. And particularly with, like, misgendering is that you can't, because I saw somebody mention that, you can't fucking draw a line of, like, okay, well, I'm going to then denigrate this person and insult their humanity and try and deprive them of their self-representation by saying, oh, I just don't like you. Because then, where's the line on that? There has to be you have to stand strong in your convictions on that. We can't have like, okay, well, I don't like this person, so I'm just going to dehumanize them. I don't like this person, so I'm just going to misgender them. Because then the line continues to move further and further and further until you become somebody like Asmongold. Until you become somebody who says, yeah, no, they just need to be killed. Yeah, no, They just need to die. Yeah, no, huh? Now, might I be thinking sometimes that, God damn, the world would be a little bit easier without people like Asmongold? Certainly, for sure. For sure. Would I think sometimes, why did it have to be Charlie Kirk and not Matt Walsh? I might think it. But I'm not going to come out here and advocate for those things to happen. Because that is plainly anti-humanity. At my heart, I am a humanist. At my heart, I don't like being bitter. I don't like being an angry person. And unfortunately, I'm naturally pretty cynical. I really fucking try not to be. But it takes over a lot, and I don't want to be that. I want to be better. I am constantly trying to be better. I'm constantly trying to help everybody else be better where we can. Yeah, also Carnus Mortem. I hate people who act like someone's gender identity is a privilege. And that's like a great way to put it, is that like if you can just take it away, then I don't think you truly believe in identifying somebody. Accurately. I can't be bitter. Oh, I can be bitter. I can be a real cunt sometimes. I think Salve, I hope Salve listens, and I hope they come back. But yeah. Oh, yes. Sorry, I meant to check that. All right, I'm checking that really quick. Awesome, Stella. Thank you. Oh, yeah, we do not have a slur pass. We do not have a slur pass. Nope, not in the chat. And that's not on me. That's on TOS. Like, I'm not... Look, I've done a lot. I've researched a lot. I've seen a lot. It takes a lot to, like, rattle me or shake me. But I don't want... Like, having slurs in the chat, it makes an unfriendly environment to everybody else. It's against TOS. It can come down on me. Somebody else could come in. Like, it's just, like I just said, we want to try to create, as much as possible, a positive space. But that also doesn't mean, because this is the thing that I always get into arguments with, because people love to be like, well, why do you insult people? Why do you do this? But it's like, well, because you can have convictions, but you got to back them up with something. I'm a big fan of the walk softly but carry a big stick philosophy. Real big fan of that. I'm a big fan of the don't start none, won't be none philosophy. And I'm a big fan of, before those things need to come into account, educating, empathizing, sympathizing. There need to be lines in community defense. And that's really what I think people get mixed up on, is that community defense is not the same as offense. Yeah, and slurs in public chat. Like, even though, like, I'll say the F slur in private on occasion. On occasion, I might slip up on stream. I might slip out. But also, I can say that. That's my word. I can say that, Yeah, exactly, Draxus. That's my word. I can say that. Will the Doctor, thank you for following. Gray Geiger. Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't get back to Gray Geiger's point. I would say take it slow. Start minimal with things like makeup. A lot of trans people, early on in their transition, it is hard to see the person you are. Or it's hard to see the person you will become. A lot of it becomes more clear over time. A lot of it takes practice. Transitioning, especially the later you do it, can be somewhat a lonely experience. It can be somewhat ostracizing, because there are a lot of younger trans people. There are a lot of in-groups and like fandoms and just like, there's a lot of stuff that can make you feel kind of lonely coming into a community for the first time, but you can find your community. I would say take it slow is my big advice. And that's not to say like, don't. But that is to say, like, when you're trying makeup and stuff, be very gentle. Be very minimal. Because this also goes for clothes shopping, because I've seen and I've known so many people, so many trans people, so many queer people, both all sides of the gender spectrum, non-binary, gender fluid, male to female, female to male, struggle with these things. Struggle with makeup, struggle with presentation, struggle especially with clothing. Clothing is a hard thing because you look and you see beautiful, attractive people and you go, God, I would have loved that. Or I want to be that. Why can't I be that? And it's not that you can't get there one day. It's not that you never will. It's that you have to understand that your body is going to go through a change, especially if you start doing hormones. It is an important part of growing. You are going through, essentially, if you choose to undergo hormones, hormone therapy, a second puberty. And it's incredibly hard with the way society is, with the way everything is. But there are a ton of incredibly friendly resources. There are a ton of things out there to help you feel more comfortable in your skin. So I would advise seeking them out. Seeking out tips on if you want to do voice training, if you want to do seeking out tips on how to be fashionable. One big hurdle a lot of trans people suffer from, again, both male to female, female to male, non-binary, whatever you identify as, is clothing. Because you have to take into account your body type and shape and how clothing shapes it. And unfortunately, for a lot of people who were raised and socialized AMAB, so you went through teenager or teenagehood identifying as a male. You went through childhood being identified as a boy. A lot of male clothing and presentation is incredibly basic and incredibly unflattering. It can be a rough learning curve, especially if you aren't, knowledgeable about clothing, how things fit, because it's real rough sometimes. But it's also a learning process, and you got to be willing to make mistakes to learn. You're going to buy clothes that you're like, oh my gosh, this would be so cute, and it doesn't look cute. It doesn't fit. I've been there. Every queer person, every trans person's been there. Every woman's been there. It's a part of presenting femininely, is that you learn real fucking quick. You learn real fucking quick that sizing on women's clothes is fucking nonsense, man. Fucking ridiculous. Like you'll be like, okay, no, I'm a size 14. I'm a size this. I'm a size that. And then you'll go and buy something and be like, what the fuck, Gap? What the fuck? I don't know, American Eagle. So yeah, I guess my advice would be to understand you're going to make mistakes, but don't beat yourself up about it. You are going through a lot of, especially for feminine presenting people, like teenage girls get a crash course on it. Genuinely. They get through high school and they have to learn the hard way. If they do too much makeup, they do makeup the wrong way. People make fun of them, or like they'll look back, they'll be junior year, look back for freshman year, be like, oh God, I can't believe my hair was that color, all that shit. And especially trans femmes don't get that kind of social grace. They really don't. And so that part of it can be really hard. But remember, it is all about learning, and you can't learn unless you make mistakes. Failure isn't the end. It is just another step on the path, right? So that would be my advice on experimenting with gender, is just to keep that in mind. All right, chat. What are we at? We're already at 2.5 hours. I still haven't watched this fucking video. We're gonna watch the old lady say she'd vote for a communist.
I just wouldn't want a single of our family's tax-paying dollars to go towards something like that. It's like giving money to violence.
So would you support a Senate candidate, in this case Haley Stevens, who's more of a moderate like you tend to like, but would that be enough?
That would definitely turn me off as 100%. I couldn't. I would vote for a communist first.
That's the kind of shit that a decade ago, 15 years ago, unconscionable. Unconscionable. Oh my gosh, Drax's fucking great point. Somebody saying, if you're wanting to wear more femme clothes, remember your waistline is right below your belly button, not your hips. Yes, especially for skirts. Skirts go spinny is a meme in the trans community, but like y'all, I can't. I'm not going to say anything about the Amazon basics. I got in trouble for that before. Look, everybody went through their Amazon Basics phase. Even if it's not actually Amazon Basics, even if you go to Value Village, you try stuff out, you experiment. Dead Domain, I was there once. Yep. Hey, everybody was. And you know what? That's part of the puberty process. You're going to have, here's the other thing to accept. You're going to have a cringe phase. You're going to have a phase that you look back on in 5 years and you're like, oh my God, I can't. Because that's part of the growing process of presentation. You're just doing it later. That's what teenagers and young adults go through in high school and middle school, in college. Finding their own style, finding how they want to present and represent themselves in the world. And they look back and you're like, oh, like, who among us, whomst, does not look back at whatever you represented as, however you saw yourself in high school or college, who among us does not look back and go like, oh my God, I can't fucking, whether that was a trend at the time, whether it was fucking bell bottoms or jelly sandals or whatever. Like everybody has these things. And it's just like, you know. Anyway, I would also like El Salve, Awesome Stella, just so nobody has to get banned, just so we can keep going on. Like let's just drop it and move on. Because at this point, I don't remember all the back and forth. I've been kind of talking and I haven't been super paying attention to who said what, so I'd really like to just clean slate it and have a good rest of the night if we can, if everybody's cool with that. Oh, was somebody calling Salve a slur? Okay, that's not cool. Yeah, fucking no. But yes, I also would say, I would absolutely say like thrifting is your buddy. Thrifting, your best friend. I get a good amount of my clothes from thrifting. And the problem with thrifting is no, El Salve, I'm saying I didn't know what was happening. I'm not saying you're not calm. I'm just saying I want to move on because I didn't know that somebody else was calling you something. So that's my bad. That was why I called it out, because it looked like things were getting complicated. I would just like to move on. What was I saying? Thrifting good. It is. You got to be careful with thrifting though, because there are a lot. It's been like fucking gentrified, genuinely. Hello, bubby. Okay, she needs more food. I'll be right back. Don't let me forget. I want to talk about thrifting a little bit. go on to, oh God, we got to talk about that. I am going to talk about the Corey Ruiz protests because speaking of, while we're talking about this, I want to talk about another thing that I haven't seen any fucking coverage of on national news. The protests after police shot somebody that have taken over an entire intersection multiple times. We got, like, there are some allies out here doing some amazing work, and people are just not, like, it pisses me off that these stories aren't getting more focus. So I want to shine a light on it. Just give me 1 second. I gotta. Hello. Yeah, I know. I'll be right back. Okay. What was I saying? DIY. Oh, yeah. So, like, a big problem is with thrifting is that there are a lot of thrift stores that will find really cool shit, but then... Oh. They'll find really cool shit, but then overprice it to hell. So, unfortunately, a lot of the times, the best tactic to take is just going through Goodwill and like Value Village and local stores. Also, local stores I highly recommend. Find your local thrift store, buy local, support local. If you can find a place that, like, a lot of, at least in cities, there are a lot of places that are like they support women's shelters, or I know in Seattle there's a good thrift store that supports the local aid network. But yeah, no, you're right. Unoan was here. Those aren't even thrift stores. No, they're just fucking like gentrified reselling stores. It pisses me off too. It drives me crazy because there's one kind of near here that I used to go to because it was more of like a vendor store, so everybody had their own booth. But it's over time, it's gotten so fucking ridiculously expensive that you're looking at like old shirts that have like fucking Bugs Bunny. They're like cool shirts, but in a like chintzy, tacky way. But it's like, man, it's like, there'll be like $50, $60 for a fucking shirt with Taz on it from 1998. And it's just, man, what are we doing? Oh yeah, no. And Sheen shit makes it, oh my God. The amount of Sheen shit that makes it into thrift stores now is just, no, honestly, just put it in a fucking landfill. Show the art I made for you to folks who may not. Oh yeah. Let us. Did I still have it right here? I still need to get to a store and do a proper show this off before we get into the protest section really quick. This was, if y'all haven't seen it, this is the wonderful art by one of our mods, Stella, that at one point will be hanging up in the background. I just need to get it properly framed because they've been just sitting in my... Look at how good it looks. Look at how cool it looks. I love it so much. I love how shiny it is too. Everybody send a big shout out and thanks to Awesome Stella for that. It is Pixel Beads. I think it's Pixel Beads. Or no, it's not Pixel Beads. It's the little, what are these called? I don't know what these are called. It's the like little Awesome Stella. You would know. What are they? Diamond art. That's what they are. Yes. And now I'm very gingerly, very carefully wrapping it up. Precious. We love Lamb Chop. Weird cat, but okay. Weird cat. Don't call Lamb Chop a cat. Oh, where is my cat? Oh, she's just looking at me. Alrighty, chat. What do we have next? Yeah, so I want to talk about this. I want to call attention to the protests going on in Madison, Wisconsin.
Protesters are back at the intersection of Williamson and South Baldwin Streets just hours after Madison police.
Roxy Mused, I'd buy a patch from you if you had one. I need, yeah, I was actually thinking today, because I've talked about this before. I need to get a manager to do this shift for me. I need to figure out a way to get t-shirts made, because I have a t-shirt design, and I have the Lamb Chop design, like I own those. And I do have stickers, but they're all through Redbubble, and I've never made any money from them, which is fine. Like, I don't need to make money. It's just more for, like, if I can get something, the reason I have the stuff on Redbubble is that people are able to just go buy it. I'm able to basically stay out of it. And if somebody wants a DD thing to rep, they can have that. But I need to really go through and find a way to have a good, reliable, quality shirt, because I do have a good, I have a design I fucking love. I love the design for the Lamb Chop shirt. I got a really great artist to do it. I just need to find a way to put it on it. But oh yeah, thank you, Awesome Stella, posting the Redbubble shop in the Twitter. In the Twitch, if y'all want to get stickers, I have a bunch of stickers. Let me actually show that off. I don't think I haven't looked at these forever. I put these up, what, 2 years ago, I think. Night of the Living Dead. Who the fuck is this? Clarity Killer. Is it just... That's not me. Suggested for you. Why are you putting suggested shit in my feed? What are you doing, dog? All right, now we're going to go Dead Domain. Da-ba-da. Here we go. Yeah, there are currently 5 stickers you can get. This was a ex of mine's dog that I made as a bit, and it's still, I love this sticker. I love that dog. I love Fuzz. And then, oh my gosh, we do have I guess a pin. I guess I made a pin. I didn't know I made a pin. Or is it? I thought it was just a sticker. But I guess you can get a Lamb Chop pin if you want. And then yes, there's the I think I still have, do I still have one of the pronoun stickers? I might. Oh, I hope I do. Yeah, I do. Hell yeah. When I ordered a bunch of them, I still have my pronoun sticker. Right? I think I used one on something, but I still have. And the reason that I did Redbubble is that I really like the quality of Redbubble. Their stickers stay on pretty good. I have hundreds of stickers. I should redo that. I don't know. It's pretty fun. It's a fun one. Pronouns. I don't know why, I just think it's funny. Leah Possum, thank you for raiding with the party of 6. Hope you had a wonderful stream. Oh, that's so fucking fun. I'm laughing at my own dumbass jokes. I'm sorry. Anyway, back to the protests and the encampment.
Police and city crews cleared.
Hell yeah, I still have my Lamb Chop sticker in my cabinet. I have Koa put one of my Lamb Chop stickers on their computer. I have one on my PlayStation and then one on my, where's my tablet? A tablet I use for writing is decked out in stickers on the back.
that encampment and that memorial. WMTV's Shayna Najawan joins us now live from that area. And Shayna, where do things stand?
Would you consider making a magnet? I love decorating my PC case with magnets. Doesn't that fuck up the... Wouldn't you be... Aren't you afraid of that fucking something up on the inside? Or is there like some kind of insulation there? And yes, people, give Awesome Stella $10. Give Awesome Stella $10 to get some merch.
As of right now.
A lot has changed since I first got here about 6 or so hours ago. The heavy police presence we saw this afternoon has completely dispersed. There's not one officer in sight, and protesters have once again taken over the intersection behind me. Those trash barricades we've been seeing over the last few days, those are back up, and a new memorial already starting to take shape.
Valerie, the lovely Italian, just like me, I don't trust magnets. I don't trust magnets.
Video you're about to see reflects what most of the afternoon looked like before things took a turn. Less than 8 hours after city crews arrived before sunrise Tuesday to dismantle the encampment and memorial honoring Corey Ruiz, demonstrators regrouped at Williamson and Baldwin. Some drivers passing through the intersection honked as the crowd grew and more protesters once again blocked traffic. We don't want no killer cop. As officers and demonstrators...
Look at that. Look at that. Look at the kids out there. Fuck yeah, man. Fuck yeah, man. It fills me with so much joy and hope. Because this kind of movement, this kind of putting yourself on the line, being about that shit, standing on business. It is something that appeals more and more and more and more and more to a younger generation. And I think it is, again, inextricably tied to the current progressive push. There are so many kids out there who are so fucking tired. Their entire life, they've been sold these goddamn lies. Is Vesper paid by the Russian army? I fucking wish.
Faced off in the middle of the intersection.
Well, not really.
Protesters shouted, just feet.
I don't like Russia. Let me be clear about that. Let me be clear.
From police lines, while officers repeatedly ordered the crowd out of the roadway.
Celestial Heart. You'll never convince me magnets aren't magic. What do you mean this rock has energy that can move shit? That's a magic rock.
After multiple warnings, officers eventually moved protesters to the sidewalk, detaining a few people as they worked to reopen the intersection.
I'm lost for words. I mean, I cannot understand or believe why they are not allowing us to protest these crooked police.
Others criticized the city's decision to clear the encampment before sunrise, saying the concern wasn't just that it was removed, but how it was removed.
This could have been done differently. It's not necessarily what was done. I mean, it is what was done, but it was also how it was done. To show up at 5 o'clock in the morning with bulldozers was disgusting. They could.
Madison officials name man killed in deadly police shooting. The name Corey Ruiz is written across multiple signs, chalk messages, and photos left at the intersection of Williamson Street and Baldwin Street. Ruiz was homeless and had a child. Publicly available court records show he had a lengthy history with law enforcement, including charges of theft, obstructing an officer, and battery. Madison, which, by the way, listen to me when I say this. Listen to me, conservatives being out there will be like, why shouldn't a resist police? Not a reason to murder somebody in any fucking way. Any fucking way. Madison Common Council President Sabrina Madison said it's only as like a palindrome sentence. That's weird. Said that that's only part of his story, and she wants people to remember he was a human too. Corey is a person, Madison said. He's a human being. He has a family, has parents who loved him, who brought him home, who cared for him, who poured into him. We must be clear. Corey Darrell Ruiz did not have to die, Urban League of Greater Madison said in a statement. His death demands more than sorrow. It demands answers. It demands a full, fair, timely, and transparent review. It demands that the public understand what happened, why it happened, what alternatives were considered, and what will be done to ensure this does not happen again. A vigil took place on Thursday night for Ruiz, and they came in and bulldozed that vigil. The demonstration came nearly 2 weeks after Ruiz's fatal officer-involved shooting on July 22nd was the latest in a series of protests following his death. Crews arrived before sunrise Tuesday to remove the encampment and memorial that had occupied the intersection since his death. By Tuesday afternoon, demonstrators had returned, blocking traffic as passing drivers honked their horns in support. Hello, Bippy. Sorry, give me 1 second. God damn. Well, El Salvi, I like I said, I don't think I made any money from Redbubble. Like, every now and then I'll get a notification of like, oh, you made a sale, but I've never been able to, like, I don't think I make any money on that, and if I have, I've never withdrawn it because it's been such a small amount. Crews arrived before sunrise to remove the encampment and memorial. As officers and demonstrators faced off in the middle of the intersection, protesters shouted from just feet away, while police repeatedly ordered the crowd out of the roadway. Officers briefly reopened the intersection several times, but demonstrators repeatedly stepped back into the streets, bringing traffic to another stop. Eventually, they moved protesters to the sidewalk, detaining a few people. Dwayne Washington, who said he's lived in Madison for nearly 3 decades and owns 2 restaurants in the city, said he attended Tuesday's demonstration because of both Ruiz's death and his own family's experience with police. I mean, I'm lost for words. I cannot understand or believe why they're not allowing us to protest these crooked police. I'm kind of surprised police left the area. That's kind of crazy. I never see that shit happening. Well, we also have fucking terrible police that will beat an old lady. A lot of people are talking about this particular incident, but the real conversation is the harm that's being done by MPD Madison Police Department in our community on a day-to-day basis. That might not always look like a murder, but it may look like something less significant or news-breaking, but the harm is still being done. Police said 16 people were booked into the Dane County Jail after officers responded to the area where they say protesters started 3 fires. Also recovered a firearm from a juvenile protester who was arrested on unrelated charges. One protester was taken to a hospital for treatment, while another was injured but declined medical care. 4 Madison police officers remain on administrative leave. Disgusting. Oh, God. Speaking of disgusting, I thought we were going to get to that tonight, but I guess not. Oh, yeah, I did. I wanted to talk about downriver candidate could become Michigan's first trans state rep. Speaking of progressives taking races, this is one that I was unaware of until I was told about it. Joanna Whaley, who won District 2 state Democratic primary on August 4th, may be on her way to becoming Michigan's first ever trans state representative. Whaley beat Democratic opponents, former state representative Frank Liberati of Allen Park and Gary Schlack, also of Allen Park, with 56% of the vote, which means she will face off against Republican Ron Kokinda in the November 3rd election. Quote, I feel great, Whaley said. We're just honored about our community supporting our message. We're ready to do the work for the people. We're really thankful for the voices of the people. That's all I can feel is thankful. She added, people were ready for change and they voted for it. We're honored to be a part of it. That's my fucking progressive. That's my fucking progressive. Let's go. District is considered a Democratic stronghold. Whaley, now here's the part that I found interesting. 38 lives in Lincoln Park as a clinical chaplain who works in emergency rooms, intensive care units, and hospice. Before that, she spent many years working as a pastor at evangelical megachurches, which is like... Struggling with gender identity, she went through multiple rounds of conversion therapy in an effort to ensure she remained a heterosexual cis man. She said she lost her job when it became known that she was considering gender transition. Sometimes it occurs to Whaley that she could become the first trans state representative in Lansing. It hits me when I'm talking to trans folks across the state. I'll get in that conversation with someone across the state who comes up and says, thank you. And what are you thanking me for? I understand in this moment in politics, what it would mean to elect a trans woman could be monumental. I don't take that responsibility lightly at all. I take it very seriously. But, she added, I know that in order to inspire, I have to be able to focus on fixing roads and utility issues in District 2. That's what's up. Where was the other part? And I'm only looking up the dead name because somebody fucking... Why? Is that a different person? Joanna Whaley. Yeah, I'll look that up, actually. Advocate might have something on it. Here we go. Hospital chaplain defeated 2 rivals. The victory... Here's the thing. and this is the part I really wanted to talk about. The victory came after a primary in which Whaley confronted transphobia even among Democrats. What? Huh. That's crazy. That's just crazy. Where we go? Why is this not showing me? Oh, it's just anything tagged with Democrat. God, I hate it when websites do that. Liberati, a former state house representative, filed a complaint with the Wayne County Clerk's office challenging Whaley's eligibility to use her legal name on the ballot. Ultimately, officials said the challenge was unfounded because Whaley had successfully petitioned for a legal name change, although the court records were sealed. Liberati based his challenge on a prior petition that lapsed. So, the motherfucker tried to undermine a trans candidate by saying, well, actually, it's not her dead name, so she can't really run, so you have to disqualify her. Huh. Crazy. House District 2 is currently represented by Tullio Liberati, Frank Liberati's brother. Whaley was one of 2 trans candidates running for a Michigan State House seat this year. The other lost the Democratic primary in State House District 9. Whaley now appears favored to win in November after securing the nomination. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. I've experienced financial hardship firsthand. Coming out as trans meant rebuilding my life and career. My Christian faith, family, and community supported me as I went back to college and became a spiritual care provider. As a trans woman running to represent every member of our district, regardless of their race, religion, gender, sexual orientation, or political beliefs, I deeply know the value of freedom and the value of protecting our freedoms. That includes the right to free speech, even speech I disagree with. Whaley has also called for equal access to jobs, education, and housing, all arenas where LGBTQ plus people have faced discrimination. Yeah. Those same fucking Democrats, what do you want to bet, would be like, well, she wouldn't be electable. It's not a blah, 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 blah. So that is some more good news to talk about. Yeah, we've talked plenty about El Sayed and everything. I do want to go and talk about another little bit of a trans issue. That from, well, I don't know about friend of the show. I hope Aaron likes me. I don't know if Aaron knows I exist. Aaron probably knows I exist. Whatever. Friend of the show. We'll call her friend of the show. Aaron in the morn. Another thing that hasn't been discussed or reported nearly as much in the mainstream. And look, I get today was a kind of a tumultuous day. The El Sayed thing really took over, like, days. of discourse, and will continue to, as conservatives continue to be incredibly racist, as Democrats continue to be incredibly racist, as everybody hand rings about, oh, is this electable? Is it electable to? I don't know why I went Tucker there. Oh, is it electable? Is it electable to focus on caring for the family and healthcare? Another story you won't get in the middle of that scrum. And this does have, I read a little bit of this, so content warning, because this gets fucking rough. But this is the other side of that good news we just got. This is what so many people are going through in America right now. Even if they are not physically being assaulted like this, the fear is there. The fear is real. I myself am not a shy person. It has been to my detriment in the past that I don't back down from confrontation. But there are still moments, even walking through Spokane, that I get afraid. There were moments walking in, not actually in LA was pretty all right. It was in Seattle. There were a couple of times where, like, my partner and I felt genuinely fucking threatened by people, by the things they were saying, by how they were approaching us. And it's always, it's scary being a trans person right now. I get that. And it's scarier in some places than others, genuinely. And I want this to be a reminder of how much we need community to be here to not just support one another, but to continue spreading the word about things like this, to continue spreading awareness of the reality that so many people are living in right now. From Aaron in the morning, trans couple brutalized at Louisiana Park bathroom, then charged by police. On May 31st, Aurora Rush and Shay Sanders would do something that would forever change the course of their lives. The couple, both of whom are trans, would use a public restroom in Bossier Parish, Louisiana. Louisiana does not have an anti-trans bathroom ban on the books, so this was wholly legal. Nonetheless, Sanders and Rush told Aaron in the morning that a mob of people at Cypress Black Bayou Park would exact revenge for this perceived transgression by beating them so severely Sanders lost consciousness. This is downstream directly from the rhetoric of the current Republican Party. This is directly the fault of years spent from people like Matt Walsh, the just slugs at the Daily Wire, people like even Asmongold, who we'll end on. The Democrats not really putting up any kind of concrete fight against the conservatives' culture war issues, allowing this shit to spread until people see any trans person as possibly a threat, regardless of what they're doing, if they're actually a threat. When was here, this is an attempted lynching, full stop. I have a hard look. I don't think on the merits, I don't think you're wrong necessarily, but I would, given the context of lynchings and especially in the history of the South, I myself am not comfortable calling it that. I think that is, like, I think especially when you're talking about places like Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, I think there is a racial connotation to, like, the history of that word. And so I don't disagree. I just wouldn't call it that. And I'm not, like, trying to excoriate you for calling it that. I'm letting you know like where I fall on it, because I think you're technically right, but like I think that's it gets into a weird gray area where what you say is not necessarily what people are going to hear, or might not be what people are going to hear, right? Because of those historical connotations, because of the implication, you know. Yeah, Iclonus, there's a racial connotation that must be like acknowledged and respected. You know, like there are, especially when you're talking about these acts of violence against minority groups, it's the same way pogrom is a word that is like has a specific connotation about violence towards the Jewish community. And you can look at very similar actions. You can look at the shit that Israeli settlers are doing and be like, oh, that's a pogrom against Palestinian people. And you're on the merits technically right. But so many people are gonna kind of get up in arms about it because there's a historical connotation that goes along with that, and a lot of trauma that comes with that. Yeah, and Iclonus, exactly. We don't want to diminish specific violence against African Americans because of parallels to other marginalized groups. Yeah. Is lynching okay to use for non-black people? I agree it's better not to use it for non-black. Well, so like it's not like off limits. Like if a lynching is a lynching, it's a lynching. But it is the connotations that I think need to be considered there a little bit. Anyway. Sanders was taken to the hospital in an ambulance where they needed 4 stitches above their eye. Rush sustained injuries all over her body, including a concussion, but wasn't taken to a hospital. Instead, police took her to a men's jail. Aaron in the morning could not find evidence that anyone else was arrested that day, and the sheriff's office would not immediately provide details. Sanders was charged with 1 count of disturbing the peace and Rush with 2, one for fighting and the other for purported use of offensive language, meaning they face fines and up to 6 months or 1 year in prison. Offensive language? What the fuck, Louisiana? Are you kidding me? Offensive language? Unlawful communications. Reversed conviction under a Louisiana statute, provided it shall be unlawful in a breach of the peace for any person wantonly to curse or revile or use obscene or opprobrious language towards or with reference to any member of the city police while in the actual performance of his duty. The Louisiana Supreme Court had sustained the law after the Supreme Court had remanded a conviction, blah, 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 against cursing at police overturned as overly broad. Yeah, no shit. Law could be abused by police. Yeah, no shit. Opportunity for abuse. All right, so if it was overturned, is it still a thing? Currently, as of January 2023. All right. Get the fuck out of here. Addressing any offensive, derisive, or annoying words to any other person who is lawfully in the street or other public place, or call him by any offensive or derisive name, or make any noise or exclamation in his presence and hearing with the intent to deride, offend, or annoy him, or to prevent him from pursuing his lawful business, occupation, or duty. You can't tell somebody to fuck off in Louisiana? What? What? I'm sorry. I thought this was America. I'm sorry. I thought this was fucking Freedom Eagles and monster trucks. What the fuck? Nobody told me Louisiana is communist China. What is this fucking commie bullshit? Can't say swear words. What are they going to do next? Replace the Bible with the Quran? That's fucking insane, man. Intentionally engaging in any act or utterance, gesture, or display designed to disrupt a funeral route. Okay, well, all right, that one might just be for Westboro Baptist. Funeral route, that's fine. Barrel, yeah. Disturbing a peace shall not be fined more than $100 or imprisoned for more than 90 days, or both. That's fucking insane. Is it disturbing the peace? Public first fistic encounter. Is that throwing hands? Could they have just said physical? Is that it's short for fit? Yeah, fighters fistic. What a weird, interesting. Learned a new word today. Huh. Alrighty, so in the hellscape that is Louisiana, where you can be fucking arrested for saying a no-no word, apparently. They said they didn't even punch back. Still, a plea deal may help them avoid jail time, but they aren't signing. I'm more angry at the response of the parish sheriff's office than I am at the people who beat us up. They further victimize me. I cannot just go to court, sign a piece of paper, pay a couple $100 and let it go away like it never happened. It's an egregious miscarriage of justice. A fucking man. In the weeks that followed the incident, the police jury, state nomenclature for what other parts of the country might call a county board of executives, unanimously voted for one of the most punitive anti-trans bathroom bans in the country. Reportedly at the request of the sheriff, Julian Whittington himself. Courtney Newberry, the couple's attorney, said that in her opinion, what happened to her clients is nothing less than a hate crime. Quote, I believe the facts will show this attack was targeted, calculated, had been simmering, and this is the direct result of the dangerous and harmful rhetoric that demonizes and dehumanizes trans people. I believe the facts will show the attackers had made a determination as to Aurora's gender, and that determination led them to believe they had the power to do what they did. They believed themselves to be the heroes here. It began as a stereotypical all-American summer day. Rush recalls. Friends gathered lakeside, had hot dogs grilled over an open flame, and tried to cool off from the relentless Louisiana sun. But this is Trump's America, meaning trans people are being subjected to new and creative terror campaigns every day. Even Rush, who had been living as a trans woman in the Deep South for over a decade, was blindsided by what happened next. Rush stepped away from the festivities to use the women's room and returned to the lake without incident. The day came to a quiet end. See, that's the fucking thing that gets me, is that, like, dude, trans people are just fucking out here existing. They're going and having, we went to, when we were in LA, when we were hanging out with Kid Bandit, we went to hey babe, Koa, what was that thing called that we went to on the beach? The thing we went to on the beach with Bandit in LA. It was like a trans takeover. Okay, thank you. Yeah, the trans takeover of the beach, it wasn't actually like a takeover. It was just like, it was a party. And it was all, do what? They took a whole beach. They took my beach. Give it back. Yeah, we took a whole beach, didn't give it back. But no, it was like this incredibly fun experience. And it was just a bunch of trans people just hanging out, just swimming, eating pizza, joking around, feet in the sand. And we fucking, like, just chilled. Nobody got in any trouble. There were like 30, 40, 50 people there. Didn't cause any problems. Didn't have any issues going to the bathroom. Because trans people are like everybody else, and they're just going through life trying to fucking exist. And we have been so villainized that people see us and immediately think that, oh no, they got to be up to something. Oh yeah, corporate carrots. I mean, I'm sorry about that. Like I say that and I'm like, oh yeah, of course. Because I've had slurs yelled at me. We've had multiple people yell slurs at us on the street. In Rush's telling, oh wait, no, here we go. Couple parted from their friends and began walking to their car, but first Sanders needed the restroom. They are non-binary but assigned AFAB, so they often feel safest using the women's room. They handed some belongings to Rush so she could wait. In Rush's telling, that's when a man... So, using the restroom these fucking dorks want. But they're non-binary. They are not gender conforming. Again, that's when a man began harassing her. She had never met him before. She didn't recognize him, but as she walked back to her car in the parking lot, he followed. She said he threatened her if she entered the woman's room, called her slurs, and tried to goad her into a fight. Rush put her belongings down and returned to a pavilion area outside the women's room to wait for Sanders, and the man kept following her. In the time it took Sanders to finish, a crowd of about 10 people had formed. Sanders remembered emerging to see their partner terrified, trapped at the center of a circle of men and women, screaming profanities and threats. It was every single hateful thing you can come up with that people say to a trans person. What followed was a stream of vitriol. They allegedly called Rush a tranny and a faggot. They allegedly said they would stop Rush from entering the bathroom by any means. They allegedly threatened to murder Rush. By the way, somebody who wasn't even using the fucking bathroom. Sanders was the one using the bathroom. Rush was just waiting. They allegedly threatened to murder Rush and said they were protecting the children. Where have we fucking heard that before? How many of these... God damn. Fuck. The EP Halfling, thank you for following. A Parks employee called the police. Sanders had been knocked unconscious and needed stitches for a gash above their eye. They were taken away in an ambulance. Rush sat in her car as police questioned her and others at the scene. Both maintained they didn't even really fight back. More than anything, they weren't in fighting condition. Rush lives off of disability because of a hip injury. She has trouble lifting heavy objects and moving one of her legs. Sanders has a structural defect in their spinal cord. An injury as mid as whiplash could render them in need of emergency surgery. They were blind in one eye for several days, the product of a scratched cornea. Medically vulnerable. Sanders is also medically vulnerable due to neurostim plant on their shoulder, a device similar to a pacemaker, but connected to the brain instead of the heart. Doctors are still trying to determine if the attack damaged the wires, which could kill them. Rush incurred head trauma, scratches, contusions, and massive welts. One knot above her knee swelled to the size of an apple. Blood pooled around her eyes. But the physical injuries were compounded by the moral ones. The worst part for Rush may have been when the officers approached her car, told her to step out of her vehicle, and informed her she was under arrest. Despite the female gender marker on the driver's license, they took her to a men's jail. Which, by the way, is entirely institutionalized cruelty. Booked her under a man's name, not even one she had ever heard or used. It's just cruelty. It's just cruelty. It makes it so fuck. All that shit when I was talking earlier about trying not to be cynical, trying not to get bitter, trying not to get rageful. It's really fucking hard, man. I'm going to be so fucking real. Oh, they are. I guarantee they're suing. Photo she shared with Aaron in the morning appears to show a plastic bag they collected her belongings, labeled with a moniker she didn't recognize. The name is crossed out and her proper legal name is scrawled underneath. Upon her release from police custody, she looked up the name on Facebook and immediately recognized the face staring back at her. It was one of the men who attacked her. Oh, Jesus, look at that fucking welt, man. Oh, my God, that... Yeah, on the leg. Look at that shit, man. That is fucked. They were scheduled for arraignment on July 15th. Their next court date the date was changed last minute. The next court date is expected to be in August. Coincidentally, July 15 was also the date the police parish voted unanimously in favor of Ordinance 22, a resolution that would impose criminal sanctions on anyone accused of being in a gendered bathroom that deviates from their sex assigned at birth and who refuses to leave upon request. It cited the passage of the Women's Safety and Protection Act, a bill pushed by anti-trans activists, establishing definitions related to biological sex and recognizing the authority of governmental entities. It's also unclear whether the ordinance is actually in effect. Government officials gave Aaron in the Morning different answers when asked. Initially, local news reports said there would be a final vote on August 5th. Several jurors told Aaron in the Morning the adoption was final. The parish attorney did not respond. The sheriff's office said it had not been adopted at all. Just great. Amen. Uncritical support to the fucking community groups mobilizing here. Community groups mobilizing both to support Rush and to challenge Ordinance 22. Quote, things have gotten bad, said Peyton Michelle Rose, executive director for the statewide advocacy group, Louisiana Trans Advocates. But we've already had it bad. We're used to standing up for ourselves. Meanwhile, multiple jurors told Aaron in the Morning the ordinance was requested by Julian Whittingham himself in the weeks following what happened. There was nothing on the books for him to do as law enforcement. That's why he asked us to do it. For Rush and Sanders, the uphill climb that remains is not just legal or political. They continue to struggle with chronic health problems as a result of the physical assault. They are still adjusting to the new normal of chronic migraines, shifting court dates, mounting medical bills, and severe PTSD. I am a completely different person. I am terrified now. I've never been scared like this before. Oh, God. Roxy used Fed posting as a way to say that any kind of like reaction to the things we talk about that people might construe as you calling to violence. So if I were to say, for example, let's just say, for the sake of argument, you absolutely, it's the, let's watch that Whitest Kids You Know skit. This is the example of Fed posting. The things it's illegal to say. Cause I sure do have some things I can't say right now as well.
Hi, I'm Trevor Moore. Did you know that it's illegal to say I want to kill the President of the United States of America? It's illegal. It's a federal offense. It's one of the only sentences that you're not allowed to say. Now, it was okay for me to say it right then because I was just telling you that it's illegal to say, I want to kill the President of the United States of America. I'm not actually saying it. I'm just letting you know that it's illegal to say that. It's kind of like a public service. I'm letting you know so that you don't accidentally go out and say something like that. But what's interesting is that it's very illegal to say, I really, really think someone out there should kill the President of the United States of America. That's illegal, extremely illegal, very, very illegal, but not illegal to say with a mortar launcher. Because that's its own sentence. It's an incomplete sentence, but it may have nothing to do with the sentence before that. So that's perfectly fine, perfectly legal. I also found out that it's incredibly illegal, extremely illegal, to go on television and say something like the best place to fire a mortar launcher at the White House would be from the roof of the Rockefeller Hewitt building because of minimal security and you'd have a clear line of sight to the president's bedroom. Insanely illegal. Ridiculously, recklessly, insanely illegal. Yet even more illegal to show an illustrated diagram. Insanely illegal, ridiculously, horribly felonious, because they will come to your house in the middle of the night and they will lock you up. Extremely against the law. One thing that is technically legal to say is that we have a group that meets Fridays at midnight under the Brooklyn Bridge, and the password is 6 Semper Tyrannis.
Fucking classic. Oh God. You know what? Another one we got to give it up to. Another classic that's more somehow, by the way, this was like Bush years, right? This was Bush years or was it Obama? This is there are a number of Whitest Kids You Know skits that they age like a fine wine. They've been sitting in the cask for a while. They get that nice woody aftertaste to it. Like it's just nom 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 nom. Like somehow this skit is more relevant now than ever.
Okay, thank you for waiting. The president has asked me to come out and make a brief statement about the wire that just went out a couple minutes ago. To make things short, I will just confirm that yes, we do have a moon base, and yes, we are currently experiencing some bear problems. Now, I will open it up if there are any questions.
Mr. Press Secretary! Mr. Press Secretary! Mr. Press Secretary!
New York Times.
Yes. I have a 11-part question.
I'm sorry, I only have time for 2.
All right, let me get this straight. So, the United States government is admitting that we do have a moon base, and that there is a bear problem on said moon base.
Yes, that is correct.
All right, follow-up question. Are you us?
That's a really good question.
No, we are not, and I would like to remind everyone to keep the language civilized. This is the White House.
Excuse me, Mr. Secretary, Bob Daniels, Newsweek.
Mr. Daniels.
How long have we had the moon base? And are these bears Earth bears, or are they from the moon?
I'm sorry, I'm not at liberty to disclose how long we have.
For those who don't know where this is heading, this is satirical. And keep in mind, every time the Trump admin has tried to declassify alien documents, or they're like, "Oh, look at this, the JFK files." Woo! It's bread and circuses. It is satirizing the way that the administrations will use shit like that to distract from the evil, horrendous shit they're doing.
Have this moon base at this time. We do believe these to be Earth bears. We have no reason to believe these to be lunar bears or even Saturn bears.
Todd Albright, PBS. There's Saturn bears?
I am also not at liberty to go into the various types of woodland life forms on Saturn or any of the other 12 planets.
9 planets.
Right.
God damn, dude. Oh. So fucking good. You know what's not so good? The fact, look, I know we've talked a little bit about Fed posting today. I feel like, and I want to have my convictions and remain about Fed posting, but the Overton window is It sure is shifting on the stuff that is apparently fucking acceptable to say on Twitch.
Always, this is emotional blackmail, right? Well, you can't shoot these people. They have kids with them. Well, then don't bring your kids. If you don't want to get shot, then don't bring your fucking kids.
Why is it
It's
so low?
Really simple. You mean you'd shoot adults and deport the kids, right? Well, I'd shoot whoever. Yeah, I'd shoot whoever. I mean, if it's kids, women, men, anybody, just shoot them. They're going to stop coming over. Because if you don't do that, they'll use children and women as shields to get themselves over. Oh my God. And then they'll put more women and children at risk because they know that they can use them as collateral so they can get more of themselves over. That's the way it works. That's the way an animal thinks, and these people are animals. It's just the way it is.
That's just the way it is. Yeah. No, that's just the way it is. And see, that's a perfect example of why I don't think much of Asman. I think he's a bad person. I think he's bad at being a human being. I'm not going to call him an animal. I'm not going to dehumanize him. Because the way he acts is incredibly human, unfortunately. Humanity can be fucking bad, man. But it can choose to not be. Every time you hear something like that, you make a choice to be angry or to look past it. Not as a person, on a personal level. It's very hard to look past. It's very hard to look at Asmund, let alone look past anything he does. But to understand that somebody like this doesn't have that power in the world. He can sit and he can, you know, as Cortana would say, float and sputter. I've been playing a little bit of, part of my depression binge lately has been Campaign Evolved, which I've come around on. I know I did a little bit of a rant on it, but I've come around on it a bit, and I'm so fucking bummed, and my heart goes out to all the devs who got laid off today from Halo Studios. I fucking fucking Microsoft, man. Anyway, that's a whole side issue.
They're savages.
They're
Absolute
savages.
Hamas tactics, terrorists.
Same thing fucking Destiny says, like, quote, as Destiny would call them, pallies do in Palestine. Pakistan. Jesus Christ. I've been up for a while. Sorry. Yeah, white dudes say the darndest thing. It's, you have to understand that when you hear something like this, this isn't coming from a place of knowledge. I don't even really think it's coming from a place of conviction. And to the point we were talking about earlier, where I will say very mean things about Asmund, and I will. I've insulted the fact that Asmongold helped kill his mother. That's just true. His mother got set on fire because Asmongold kept buying her cigarettes while she was on an oxygen tank. Asmongold helped kill his mom. That is true. That's an objective fact. But I think it's important to understand that people like Asmund aren't like this for no reason. And that's not, I don't want to ascribe any kind of greater motivation to him, because I think he is a very basic person. I don't think he has a whole lot going on, but I think that's also the same reason why he has leaned so far and so hard into the most reactionary shit possible. Do I think he would actually ever shoot somebody? No. He's a fucking pussy. What are you doing? Move. What are you doing? Did you? Oh. I just get your ball all under that. I think it is him continually trying to get as much attention and be as offensive and transgressive as possible. And it just manifests like this. It manifests as him saying, yeah, no, I would kill children. Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, no, absolutely. And on some level, I do feel bad for him. Like, I do have empathy, because he seems miserable. And this is really the thing. And I don't say it to be condescending. I don't say it to, try and make these chuds and works, or whatever you want to call them, this kind of right-wing Gamergate 2.0 contingent, make them seem less dangerous than they are for the noxious bullshit they spread, because it's genuinely harmful. But when I look at people like Asmund, when I look at people like fucking Endymion, or Peel versus Babyface, or fuck Andy Pants, Christ, man, all I can think of is how fucking miserable they must be. Like, genuinely. It's the old adage, what is it? The best revenge is living a good life, or something to that effect. There's an old parable or something that is to that effect. And I think that is true. Like, I really do. Like, every day I get up, I exercise. I've been eating better lately. I've been slimming down a little bit for cosplays and photo shoots. I've been working hard. I had somebody the other day, because who was I fucking insulting? I think it was Asman or something. And somebody was like, oh, you're just jealous. And it's like, at a certain level, maybe, yeah. Yeah, am I a little bit jealous that Asman has this massive hoard of resources from essentially doing nothing and contributing nothing of value to society? Yeah, a little bit. That sucks. Because I would love to use those resources for something good. I would love to have that like Hassan money where I would be able to give money to people right now in my city who need help. I would fucking love that. And the best revenge is a life well lived. There you go. I am not that guy. 7166. Drop the routine. One good laid out could change this man's life. There was that story the other day about some incel went out to a bar with friends for the first time and was talking about how like trying to get them like friends, I guess it was coworkers or something, and trying to tell them about how hard it is to like date and Stacy's like incel rhetoric. And these people who are normal, just working class people were like, no, we could just go and good God, Cat, what do you fucking want? What? Oh my God. All right, give me a second. Cat is just being like, I'm going to get you, Cat. I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. Shake you till you're done, Cat. God, I forgot where I was. Where was I going with that? I thought that was my cat. No. Skincare routine? God, my skin's actually been kind of rough lately because of the fucking smoke and fire. I've been breaking out terribly. The skincare routine I use, it's not CeraVe, it's the other one that they have such similar fucking branding. But I have a moisturizer that I use. I use tretinoin gel every 2 days with moisturizer, and then just basically a clarifying cleaner at night. I have a really good, it's kind of expensive, but it's good sunscreen for my face. Sunscreen, by the way, sunscreen, massively important. If you are like just for skin health care, so many people do not use sunscreen the way it is. And I highly recommend Supergoop. It is some of the best, goes on entirely clear, feels great, very light, doesn't give you that like chemical goopy feeling. It helps stay moisturized and fucking works. So, and I only use it for my face because, again, it is kind of expensive. So I'll just use spray sunscreen shit for arms and legs and all that stuff. But like, yeah, I don't know. Skincare routine, wash every morning and night. Have a kind of clarifying, like a cleaning scrub every other day or so. Well, not even every other day, probably every 3 days or so. I'll do a like an actual scrub, like a pore clearing scrub, and then yeah, like every day or so after that, tretinoin cream, and that's really it. A lot of it is just consistency, really. That's a huge part of skincare. It's got to be, you got to stay consistent with it. I tried that stuff but still have pimples. So a lot of it can also be diet. And sleep and hydration. I've been a lot better about hydration, speaking of which, water. You don't rot max? No. I don't know. I've actually kind of been rot maxing a little bit the last couple days. No. No, because I still, even when I'm like really depressed, I can't, I've never had, and I understand that like clinical depression manifests in a lot of different ways, but I've never had a, like I've had some bad bouts of depression, but never to the point, and maybe it's just maybe it's an OCD. I don't think it's OCD, but maybe it's just a thing that was, instilled in me at a young age. But like, I've never gotten to a point where anything was actually dirty. And I understand that is a real struggle for a lot of people. And like, I do empathize with that, but it's something I've never had like experience with. I've had times where it's like, I'll not bathe for a day or two, but that's kind of the limit of it. I really, I bathe like once, sometimes even twice a day if I go for a run. Like if I go for a run or something, I'll take a bath in the middle of the day because I'm all sweaty, I'm all sunscreened out, and I want to sit down and do some work, and I want to get, I don't like to sit here and feel like I'm stewing, But also, like, not everybody, like, I go out all the time. I try and maintain, like, social function and social scheduling. So it's like, it's a little bit different. That is so curious, Roxy Muse. Stuck with cystic acne for most of my adult life. Went away after cutting out cheese for 3 years. See, it's so... Eating and the way it affects you is one of those things that so many people don't realize how little things that you're like, oh, this won't hurt me or affect me. I developed, and it went away, but I developed like a almost allergic reaction to natural sugars in my like early 20s. I don't know why, but like there was a period of several years where my partner and I, or my ex-wife at the time, like we would go to the doctor because I would have the worst fucking stomach pain. Like so painful. And it came back to like fruits and vegetables, mostly fruits. Like things with naturally occurring sugars would just fuck up my stomach. And we didn't know why, and it went away. It was, I don't know. But yeah, the story about the guy at the bar the other day. Yeah, there was some incel. The long and short of it is that this guy was trying to tell people about how hard it is to date out here, and all of the people he was at the bar with were like, "Dog, you can just go home with somebody. Like you just got to be likable." And it's one of those stories where you realize how, because it was the guy admitting that this group he was hanging out with saw him as this fucking incel dork, and he was trying to depict it as like a sympathetic story, like, oh, they just don't get it. It's like, no, dude, you ran into people who live out in the real world. Like you can fucking put the phone down and there's a whole world beyond it. Twitter ain't real. Spending all your time on kiwi farms and 4chan ain't the fucking real world, And that's kind of the basics of it. Your gut flora can shift and trigger a ton of pseudo allergy symptoms. Yeah. And that's the kind of stuff is that like a lot of times it's weird little allergies like that can develop and grow, and like you can become more lactose intolerant over time. Like I'm for a little while I was like borderline lactose intolerant. Like even having a cheeseburger could like trigger my stomach, like crippling pain and cramps. And it's just like, I know it's that stuff is so weird. I would get, if you have stomach issues with something and you don't know what it is, get tested. Yeah, or Shifty, it could have went away after 3 years anyway. Yeah, it could, that too. Like that's the fucking insane thing. The body, it could have. What was it? There was one thing I wanted to look at. Oh yeah, I want to talk about Spider-Man. Who wants to talk about Spider-Man? I saw Spider-Man. Epsilon 1, thank you for raiding with a party of trois. Hope you had a wonderful stream. Cyberpunk 2021 and STF 6899. Thank you both for subscribing. El Salve, thank you for $2. Can I squish him? Who are you talking about? Oh no, are we down? Or nor? Are we back? Are we back? All right, I'm getting F's on Twitch. Do we have F's on YouTube, or is YouTube still up? Yeah, it looks like Twitch might have just gone down because Twitch is the only one doing F's. Oh, yeah, VavQ. Does anybody have experience with limited run? I have experience with limited run. Like years ago. I haven't fucking bought anything from limited run in a while. Yeah, look, be prepared to wait more than a year for whatever you buy. Be prepared to wait more than a year. Be prepared to come home one day and be like, what the fuck is this package? I didn't order anything. And be like, oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, also don't get me started on limited run. I don't know, man. It's the physical game market is such a weird thing, and I understand the love and appreciate. And they have some cool stuff. Like there's some stuff that I'm like, yeah, I fucking love that game. Yes, I will get. I have the Far Cry Blood Dragon collector's edition that, by the way, I need to sell. If anybody wants to buy it, because I'm not displaying it or anything. The Far Cry Blood Dragon limited edition. I had a collector's edition of The Missing, the sweary 65 game that I really loved. I sold that because I needed money. At one point, I had the Doom 64 limited run collector's edition, which was a gift, but I did have to actually sell that as well because I needed money at a certain point. And when you're poor, is real, no. God, I still wish I had that. Because this shit was like, oh, 2020. God, 5 years ago already, huh? Oh, yeah, talk about Spider-Man 4. Yeah, fucking insane. Spider-Man banned. Okay. Fucking insane. Spider-Man 4 made $1 billion goddamn dollars over the weekend. But yeah, anyway, this was the Doom 4 or the Doom 64 helmet that came out. Yeah, also, well, I don't know. I'm a Silent Hill head, so also $100 for short messages. I would say no. Like, and I say that as a Silent Hill fan who doesn't like a short message, but like that's a lot for a game that's like barely an hour long. Short message thoughts? Cheese King, it's probably just that I have a VPN, and some websites, if you try and go on it with a VPN, will tell you to kick rocks. Hello, baby. Come on up. Come on up. Hey, yeah. Yeah, you come here. You are being a booger. Did I fuck with Spidey 4? I have things I liked about it. I have things I didn't like. I do not think it was as good as 2. I still think, and then look, it might be partially nostalgia, but I still think like my top 2, 3 Spidey. I don't think it touches the top 3 Spidey movies for me, if I'm being honest. I think in top 5, it's probably in the conversation. It's probably in that conversation. I think it's at odds. It's another movie where itself is at odds with the fact that it needs to be this big franchise building exercise. Because it's my Roxy Amused, my schedule is I try to keep up Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then I try and do either Saturday or Sunday most of the time too. But yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, usually in the afternoons. And like it's just there's some really, really smart stuff with the characters. Go. Leave Miss alone, dude. Come here. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Now you're all tangled up, you goofus. Ow. I gotta trim your claws, baby, don't I? You say hi? You say hi? You say hi to everybody? She's rubbing up on me now. Oh. Oh, she purring. Can you purr into the mic for everybody? No. She said, no, I'm shy. She said, no, you cannot climb all the way up on my shoulder, you dork. The lady is so perturbed by this. Okay, baby. No, you gotta get, I can't support you on my shoulder, honey. You gotta get down. There you go. There you go. You can stay in my lap, honey. Lady is mad that. Hey, Koa. Yeah. Would you be able to take Lady out for a sec? 1 second. Okay, thank you. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna declaw my baby. I would never declaw your baby. No, she gets her claws trimmed. Ow! No. She already doesn't have teeth. She already doesn't have teeth. She would be defense with. Ask her to take her claws away. She doesn't even have teeth. Why are you trying to take her claws away, chat? What? What are you doing? I love this little kitten. She has been so snuggly lately. She's been such a good little kitty. Yes, she has. Look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's good squishes. Oh, yeah, that's good squishes. Oh, yeah, good squishes. But yeah, I liked Spidey. I liked a lot of the stuff they did. I feel kind of bad for Mark Ruffalo because I feel like they're kind of trying to write him out of the universe a little bit, which sucks. The Spidey Punisher shit was the best part for me. It was such a great dynamic for both of those characters, especially the way they've been established. Yeah, she's a tortoiseshell. She is not normal. Thank you, baby. Do you want me to come with you? Yeah, I'll come with. Alrighty, chat. We're gonna go. I'm gonna go take my dog for a little walk with my partner really quick. So we're gonna go and raid somebody real quick who is on the line. And by the way, chat, do not forget, go check out the channel on YouTube. Go like, subscribe. We have a recent video that is one of my favorite videos I've done in a long time. It's one of the funniest videos I've done in a long time. So if you like my comedy, you like the humor, go check it out. Go check out the most recent video where I played all the way through the nightmare that is Citizen Vigilante, the video game. And with that all said, thank you all so much for the wonderful conversation. Thank you all for sticking around tonight. We are going to go... Who do we got? Yeah, let's go say hi to Actual Jake covering the Fetterman. The Fetter magic is fading. Go say hi to Actual Jake for me. We love him over there. Go give some support. Go follow and sub. And I will see everybody next stream. Thank you all again.